Good evening, everyone, and welcome back for the third round of the WCS 2017 Formula 3 season. I'm Sam Jones tonight, and you're joining us in the heart of France, right in the centre pretty much, in the circuit Magny Cours. It's an old track now. It's been around for quite a few years, although not seen on some of the major racing competitions like F1 for a few years now, but always has brought up quite a bit of action here, and it should be fantastic to see what happens today. So following on from the second round in Monza, which was an absolutely cracking couple of races, where there was of course a lot of slipstreaming and battles throughout the field, and quite a few surprises and reliability issues as well. We really don't know what to expect here today in France, and it's looking like a good strong field once again. We're currently in qualifying, and we'll certainly be finding out soon enough how the grid will shake out. So I'm not alone tonight. Tonight on the cameras we have a new cameraman, Argo Teder. So thank you very much for joining us on the cameras, and a familiar voice and familiar face alongside me also tonight is Joshua Anderson, who was, of course, my fellow commentator at Monza. So it's good to see you back once again, Josh.
Great to see you back as well, Sam, and it's a pleasure to be back at WCS commentating once again, and a pleasure to be commentating on a race at the Circuit de Magny Cours. It's a circuit that I have a bit of a love-hate relationship, to be honest, because my first ever sim race in an open-wheel car was here, and it didn't go very well, if I must be brutally honest. So it's going to be nice today to sit back and enjoy it from a commentator's perspective as well, because that's something I never had a chance to do.
Yeah, it's certainly a track that I haven't really had a chance to do much on for quite a while now. It really has kind of gone out of the light, especially ever since it disappeared off the F1 calendar in real life. I found as well. It's one of those tracks that I think you're right. People either love it or they absolutely hate it, and it's certainly an interesting one. And the run down to the first hairpin is always good. I find that's very interesting to see on the first couple of laps. Whether we'll see something like that today, I don't know, but we've got a big field of cars, so anything could certainly happen. And leading that big field of cars at the moment with about 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining in qualifying is Jason Muscat. So he is continuing his strong form that he showed in the second half of the Monza last round in round 2 for Malta Force GP, and he is currently leading the times with a 1:30.5. Just about half a tenth faster than Kevin Siggy for TG Racing, who's a second. That's a familiar familiar name to a lot of people who know anything about sim race, especially in the R Factor community. But the first time we've able to see Kevin Siggy in action in WCS, so it's good to see him, and going to be interesting to see how he gets on, because we know what kind of driver he is.
Yeah, we'll be interesting to see how he gets on. He knows a very, very quick driver, Kevin Siggy, and he knows his way around a Formula car. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on in this WCS field. And of course, we've got the likes of Jason Muscat, Philip Koenig as well, drivers who we've seen before. A couple of faces I've never seen before. Otto Seinen's one of them as well. Never seen him around, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does. And of course, we've got the Pescara duo, Eris Masciuli, Michael Francesconi, both very talented drivers in the right. And I see Matt Richards' name in there as well, who's someone who I've got a lot of personal experience with, and he could definitely be a favourite for a couple of race wins today, perhaps, because Matt Richards very talented when it comes to these cars.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's shown speed in the past. I think he's had a few issues in previous rounds. I'm sure he was around in previous rounds. I think having a few struggles starting from the back of the grid. That's why maybe we haven't seen quite what he could do so far. A couple of other names I've noticed that have joined the fray for today are Robert Johnson, Jack Mayer, and Josh Downard as well. There are a few names that we haven't seen before, but they look like those drivers are going to be taking part today. Johnson will be driving for Ice Cold Racing, Jack Mayer for EJ Engineering. And at the moment it says that Josh Downard is in the WCS Open car, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe he hasn't quite picked the right car, but we'll see if he sticks around for when the lights go out at the end of this qualifying session, which only has about 10 seconds remaining now.
Yeah, so cars will just be finishing their current laps then, and well, it is a good-looking possibility so far for Jason Muscat. If he can find a tenth or so through here on this lap, that he can get himself pole position, because Eris Masciuli has not left the garage again. So it's going to be Muscat, Siggy. I mean, look at this though. the closeness of the field, it could realistically go anyway because we have 17 cars within a second of each other. Now, I've seen close racing, right? But not this close. Come on, this is just ridiculous standards. I mean, anyone realistically, I think up to about 10th place could still be on pole, so we'll have to see how it pans out.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it's definitely closing up as the rounds progress. I think we're becoming more familiar with the car as Jason Muscat comes down to the final sector now. So he's just got a couple of corners left to go. I see there's a yellow flag waving down there. So I don't know if someone's had enough. We'll see if that means that
Oh no,
he
Muscat in.
does. He aborts his lap, doesn't he? So whether there's a yellow flag or something that affects that, I don't know. But that means he'll be only starting from second at best if the likes of Kevin Siggy or Sven de Vries don't improve.
Yeah, Siggy here in P6. Oh, gets it on 2 wheels there. That is not going to help his lap time. In fact, he's just spun round at, I believe that's Chateau d'Oy, I think he's gone round there at. So that's not going to help him. I think he's going to have to not get that lap done now. And Whoopie Hoekstra, perhaps the next fastest who could possibly do it. But I don't know whether he's going to board his lap. He comes on the final corner. Couple of corners here. No, he's going for it. Whoopie's going for it. Gets airborne into the wall. That's twice I've seen that happen now. Very high curbs then, evidently. Stefan Ruhl doesn't even improve as well as he comes across the start-finish line either.
Yeah, and from all of that, it actually turns out that Jurne Simoncic has taken pole position. So Hawkeye Racing there, really good effort by Simoncic to sneak in that lap right at the end, and he got it by 0.17 of a second. So definitely not much between himself and Eros Masciuli for the pole position time, and Simoncic, I'm sure, after that engine failure in race 1 at Monza last time out, round 2, will be wanting to improve on that for sure. So that's a really good effort by him and a great lap time.
Well, Eros Masciuli's still going to start in the front row, which is still respectable. And a track like Magny Cours, it's still an important thing to have, because he's still starting up there at the front of it. So it's not really a terrible outcome at all to be starting in the front row going into Grand Cours, which is turn 1, and then through with the likes of Estoril. The run down to turn 5, which is the first really tight corner of the lot, is going to be an interesting one. And if Eros can get down the inside of turn 1, he might still be able to hold the lead after the first couple of laps.
Yeah, certainly. It's be a really interesting one because they're all going to kind of, I guess you could say, they're going to kind of go line astern through the first couple of corners once it all filters out, but then it's all going to get wild again, isn't it, down to the hairpin, and that's really where we're going to see, I think, a lot of the overtaking moves on the first lap. So that's going to be a real key area of the racetrack to see who can come out on top at the start of the race. And we've seen that this season that it sometimes is quite important to get out on top at the start of the race and then try and lead towards the pits, the pit stops. That will be the mandatory pit stop about halfway through race 1, and that's usually where we get an idea of who is and who isn't going to perform well, as the drivers now go out onto the track with a 10-minute warm-up session. So this is just to allow the drivers to get used to the cars and a heavier fuel load, and try out any last-minute preparations, just get a couple of laps in just to prepare themselves for start, really. And always a good time as well, I think, to do some practice starts.
Yeah, practice starts always a good thing to have in these Formula 3 cars. They do have launch control, mind, so that's going to help with affairs, of course. But, at the beginning of the season, it wasn't the best launch control in the world. Now it has been refined a bit, so they at least have that to help them off the start of the race. They can practice using that if they haven't already tried using it. And, they had the chance to do a couple of laps on race fuel as well, so get used to that sort of thing and what sort of pace they'll be doing. Maybe you would have a couple of mock battles with other drivers if they so wish, but there are a lot of things you can do in the warm-up 10 minutes which should be used well and get the drivers to prepare themselves for the race ahead.
Yep, so a lot of the drivers going out now on track. I see Masciuli, Muscat and Siggy all heading out there, and there's already quite a few further down the field also out on track as well. And whilst we've got a bit of time, I think it'll be worth just taking a quick glance at the Drivers' Championship. Of course, there's only 2 rounds that we've had so far, but the Championship is not a long one, so it's going to be really vital about where your points are coming from and getting those points early on in the season. And that's exactly what Sven de Vries has done so far for Satellite Racing. He's currently leading the championship on 79 points and actually has a 20-point gap. That's quite a big gap back to Lars Brugman in second place. So already Sven's got a quite a strong position, but of course Brugman's been dealt a few blows early on in this championship, whereas De Vries has been pretty consistent with his point scoring. But Lars Brugman did manage to get some good points out in Monza last time out, so we'll see if that can continue. Although, of course, he's not here today, so
I was
that's
about
not
to say.
yeah, that's not going to help him at all, is it?
No, that's not going to help the face for him, and he's going to go even further back than now, so he'll probably lose second by the end of this round.
Yeah, so it looks like for Sven de Vries's main rivals that he'll be checking out on in this race will be Wupke Hoekstra in third place currently, and Simic in fourth, who have 45 and 40 points respectively, and that's quite a ways back. That's over a race victory back from Sven de Vries. So after race one, Sven will still be the championship leader no matter what, but anything could happen, and if he has a couple of bad races, there could be a big swing in points going in someone else's favour, especially since Simic has looked so strong in qualifying so far. So just to give you the rest of the top 10, Michael Francesconi and Eros Masciuli, the two Pescara drivers, are 5th and 6th in the championship with 36 and 35 points. And then Tobias Olsen for Ice Cold is 7th with 33. He's actually equal on points with Jason Muscat in 8th. Also on 33 points, with Rob Mason, who's done a stellar job so far in the first couple of rounds, and he's really shown quite a decent amount of speed, although I think again he's not here today, is he? So we're going to be missing out on Rob, but he's 9th in the championship with 32, and then Masai Mlinek is 10th on 31 points.
Yeah, and that's a pretty decent for Machi to be in as well, because not terrible in terms of championship position. He has time to make that up and potentially a charge, but even from 10th, it can be difficult sometimes. But he's got a good team behind him in Hawkeye. Got a very good teammate in Janis Simic as well. So interesting to see if Hawkeye can keep this pace up, because they've been good so far this season. As Josh Downard has just set a lap on the server, and it is actually 10 seconds behind the current time of Jason Muscat. Maybe just struggled on his first lap out then in the warm-up session, but I'm sure that he will catch up and challenge other drivers in this race as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for him today, isn't it? It looks like he's just getting used to the car and probably just getting used to the series as well. But another driver joins the server, and it looks like some of the drivers just doing some last-minute changes off the server as well before we get going. Kevin Siggy's actually quickest at the moment, although I'm sure lap times aren't too representative, but once again showing that he's got some decent pace. And Siggy, who's been around in many other championships in R Factor 1 and R Factor 2, really has been one of those drivers that I feel that when I first saw him, he had some decent pace, but he made quite a few mistakes, and he's certainly improved in that. In other series, have become like a real contender for wins wherever he goes. So I won't be surprised to see him challenge for a win or two today as well.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy was a bit of a Roman Grosjean, quick but inconsistent, and maybe prone to a bit mistakes. But really refined himself since then, and he's become a lot better racer than he was. I mean, he was good racing before, but he's even better now. Because he's found that consistency, he's found that form that he may not have had before. So he's now really up there constantly, potential championship challenger, Kevin Siggy. And the fact he's coming in the third race season might hurt his championship hopes, but we have seen larger comebacks before.
Yeah, we certainly have. And, anything's possible, and it's a very long way to go as well, isn't it, Josh? We're going to be looking weeks and weeks into the future, and plenty of stuff's going to happen then, just like the return of motorsport in all forms in real life as well. That's really what I'm looking forward to at the moment, as a couple more drivers re-enter the session as well. Just looking down the field also, just seeing a few other drivers that might have a good chance today. What do you make of the two Pescara drivers, Josh? They had a really good result in the first race at Monza last time out, and a bit of a surprise as well, considering they started so low down on the grid as well.
Yeah, Eros and Michael are very, very strong drivers as well, and in a race situation they are brilliant, and have experience as well with top flight Formula cars, not just Formula 3s. So they know the ins and outs of even the fastest machinery in the world these days. So always a formidable force to watch out for, the Pescara drivers. And I wouldn't put it past them to get good results again today, because they just seem like they're in that sort of form. But it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
Yep. Absolutely. It's really, I think we're still in the kind of early stages of this series at the moment where it's difficult to really pinpoint exactly who's going to do week in, week out. We've only had 2 rounds to really get to know the drivers and the teams and the cars themselves also. So it's still a learning curve even for us up in the commentary box. It's always a learning curve up in the commentary box, I find. But really, really interesting stuff. And Tobias Olsen now goes fastest in this warm-up session, and he had a good showing at Silverstone and maybe struggled a bit more in Monza, but looking like he's got some handy time on him today as well.
Yeah, looking like he's got a pretty decent looking at him, and should be able to do well if he can get a good start, as can anyone, because, it's all about the start ultimately, because these cars, even with the launch control, it's the first couple of corners and the first lap that's really important. I mean, I find that I'm actually a lot quicker than people on the first lap, but then I lose all the positions of the game, so it's about getting the positions and keeping them for the likes of people who might further back than they want to. But, anything can happen on lap one, just hopefully good things.
Yeah, I'm much in the same boat as you, Josh. I find I'm a bit of a good driver in lap one, and then it all goes downhill after that. And yeah, I'd love to end all the races after lap one. That'd be fantastic stuff. But it's never quite what you get out of it. As I just see Simičić go around the infield section, and it really is tight through that infield. Some very fast sweeping chicanes as well. It's going to be a difficult one to overtake in some places today, but there's a few opportunities, isn't there?
Yeah, lots of decent overtaking opportunities. You've got the run down into Adelaide, the tight right-hander. That's a no potential overtaking spot. You've got maybe at 180 if you're feeling brave. You got into Chateau d'Eau as well, and then the complex, the Lycée Pan as well, Lycée Pin as well, 10-15. The complex to Lycée isn't really an overtaking spot, but if there's a couple of places where if you're feeling really brave, you can chuck in. A couple of places that are more sensible if you wanted to go for it. But either way, it could be a very interesting race here at Magny Cours, and first time, as I say, I've commentated on a race here, so it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out for the drivers and us.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. We've had some fantastic racing in the first couple of rounds. It's really has been a case of the driver who gets away first doesn't necessarily win the race, and there's so many twists and turns that often occur along the way. And we usually get a few packs of cars racing each other as well. I find a good 3 or 4 cars, and then you get a bit of a gap, and then 3 or 4 more cars. It looks like we just reset the warm-up session here, so they're not quite ready to go yet, are they?
Yeah, it's Josh Arnold's just disconnected, but he's going to be coming back into the session. So as soon as he comes back, we'll be starting.
Yep. So stick around. Don't go away. Maybe get a quick drink. Nothing more. Don't go.
There won't be much time.
No, don't go sticking the dinner in now. That's not a good idea, is it? But all the drivers are coming back out, but this could switch over to the race any time soon, and then of course we'll have our warm-up lap before going away to the race and lights out. And just a quick reminder, the race has a mandatory pit stop. It'll be one pit stop that the drivers can take at any point during the race, but typically it's usually around the halfway mark. Everyone tries to kind of split their strategies half and half, but we've seen quite interestingly sometimes that the pitting in early has benefited some drivers this season. Sometimes it hasn't.
Yeah, sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't, sometimes the undercut does work, sometimes it doesn't. It's all situation dependent, and we'll have to see how it works out for each individual driver if they decide to do it.
Yeah, so definitely look out for that one. It's never really. We're always guessing about when drivers going to pit in and when they're going to come back out on track with their respective drivers that they're racing. So it looks like now we're finally getting ready to switch over. The grid is being set for the final time, and we've got a 31 car grid here, so it's looking pretty strong once again, as everyone's been told to leave the grid now.
Yep, everyone going to the grid now, and it should be interesting to see how this race is, as you say. Looking to be an interesting one, so yeah, let's just see how everyone gets on. And of course, we have 31 cars at Magny Cours, pretty packed grid, and it gives me reminders of that very first race I did. But hopefully, it'll go better for the drivers on the grid than it did for me there, and I'm sure with the amount of skill they have that it will do.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want any Andersons going off today, do we?
Well, there aren't any Andersons on the grid.
Luckily not, no. But it looks like most people are onto the grid now. Yes, every single driver has made it onto the grid, and so the cars pull away, and we set off for one formation lap before we go racing. So just to quickly take you through the field, we have Jurne Simičić on pole position for Hawkeye Racing. He has Eras Mashuli alongside him for Pescara, with Jason Muscat for Multiforce GP in third, and Kevin Siggy, who it's the first time we've seen him, as I said before, for TG Racing in fourth place. Really excited to see what he could do. Sven de Vries, our championship leader for Satellite Racing, is in fifth, with Wupke Hoekstra, our third place contingent in the championship for CM Tech, in sixth. So those two will be fairly closely battled, de Vries and Hoekstra, during this race, with the championship on the line, I'm sure. Borja Milan for Multiforce is seventh, with Tobias Olsen in eighth for Ice Cold Racing. Michael Francesconi, the second of the Pescara cars, starts in ninth, with Masai Mlinek for Hawkeye Racing starting in 10th. Stefan Ruel for Adonis is in 11th, with Roy Schroten for Racing Team Schroten in 12th. Now we've got this two stacks racing drive, the Philip Koenig and Patrick Vannemuller on the 7th row of the grid. Niels Brugman for Waters Automotive, and Wesley Stefano rounding out the top half of the grid. And Josh, if you want to take away the rest.
With pleasure, Chris Kinsman finds himself in P17 for Racing Team Short to start this race. And he is followed by Matt Richards in the Fanatic Drake Racing car in P18. Then it's Terence Crack 19th place. And then he's followed by Christoph Lichtenstein in the 20th place. Number 20 car there. Quite convenient for Christoph. Menno Klont, the TR Blue Fast Motorsports car, number 35, is directly behind in P21. Then it's Mike Quint in P22. And expect good things from Mike Quint. Very quick driver on his day. Gary de Vries, 23rd place, followed by Otto Sonninen in P24. Going to be looking out for him to see how well he does. Jacob Pegg in P25. And he is followed by Brett Metcalf in 26th. Then it's Robert Johnson, who's actually spun on the formation lap there in P27. I don't blame him. It is very easy to do. Followed by Jack Mayer in P28. Then Theo van der Brink in 29th place. And then Ring Hoekstra 30th. And Josh Downard in the Fanatic Drake Racing car, rounding out the field in 31st place. And he is now in the right car, evidently.
Yes, he is. Yeah, look very splendid in that beautiful colour scheme. So, Josh, quickly before the start, as the front rows start to line up on the grid, who is your pick for the winner of this race?
I want to say Eros Mashuli myself. I just think from second he's probably got a very good chance.
I like it. I like it. I'm actually going to go for a bit of a gamble today. Not going to play it safe. I'm going to go for Kevin Siggy. I just feel like he's going to do something amazing.
Oh, well, I wouldn't blame him. He is quite good. As Theo van der Brink is just having problems getting into his grid box. But I think everyone's lined up now. We can take the start.
Yeah, it looks like everyone is just about there. Yeah, everyone's actually lined up. So it's for wait now. We're just waiting for the lights. We haven't heard them go on. Oh, there we go now. The lights are going on. The engines start to rise. And, whoa, have I had a bit of a jump start? I don't know, maybe.
Well, it's got a bit wrong. I think the green lights came on and everybody went, but something crazy has happened. I don't know whether that's a track problem or not, but the green came on, but I didn't hear the actual going down until later, so I think we might find either a restart of the session or lots of people with drive-through penalties.
Yeah, absolutely crazy start. Half field went, half the field didn't. Jurne Simičić leads then down towards the hairpin, and he's got an absolutely huge lead over Jason Muscat. Muscat has Mashuli. Oh, there's someone off big time in the background.
Oh, it's de Vries!
He's got Ramus Siggy off as well.
Yes, Sven de Vries has gone and had a bit of an accident. He's down to P20 now. The weird start there got his own, and he's just rejoined into Otto Sonninen, I believe, there. Maybe just a bit, Sven de Vries having a bit of a couple of problems on the start there, but overall it seems to have gone reasonably well for a couple of drivers. Simičić has absolutely taken a flyer of a start there, with the likes of Muscat, Mashuli behind, Schroten, Klont. But yeah, that was a bit of a mad start, because half the field did, half the field didn't. I think they were half waiting for the lights to go out, and half were waiting for them to hear the sound. I would have gone on the sound myself, but the people who did have obviously suffered. Mike Quint's gone off and had a bit of an accident down, but he's followed down at P23. But Simičić leading things as we end the first lap.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I was a bit speechless there. Red flag has been waved.
Yeah,
so...
I wondered why half the field went.
Yeah. I think that's fair enough, isn't it? It's not fair on drivers who were expecting the Well, I don't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect there. I was listening to the sounds. I can't see the lights from where I was looking, so that's why I was a bit confused at the start. And I think a couple of other drivers might have had the same confusion as me. So fortunately for those who had a bad start, they'll get a second chance now because that was pretty crazy, Josh. I've never actually seen anything like it.
Yeah, I haven't either. So, yeah, there was a green light when it wasn't even green. I think maybe a track issue rather than anything. But, yeah, I think the driver's supposed to go on the start horn rather than the green lights. There is a bit of confusion now. So, Roy Shorten's saying just look at the light, but people are saying go on the start horn. I think Sven de Vries, who's the admin here, is going to have to clear something else so everybody knows. But it is a bit of a strange thing to happen. I've never seen it.
No, absolutely. That really took me back there. I thought I thought maybe two guys jumped the start, and that's just unheard of, really, isn't it? No one really jumps the start anymore, especially with launch control. It's a difficult thing to do. It does happen, but it's very difficult to do. So I think the admin now
Oh,
really
hang on
have
a
to.
minute. Sven de Vries is saying go at the lights because the horn's delayed.
Okay, that's fair enough. I hope all the drivers can see the lights then. I tend to usually go by sound more than lights, especially when starting in the back of the grid. It tends to be a little bit more helpful. So that's interesting there. I don't know if we could get a view of the lights because I can't see them, so it's a bit difficult. I might have to go on board with someone for the very start of the race to try and work it out because you can't see it from the outside cam as we look down onto the straight. So that means then we will have a full restart. It'll be the order of the qualifying results once again. So everyone will retake their original grid positions. And it may look a bit weird, but we'll be going on the green light, which makes sense, and not on the sounds that you can probably hear over the broadcast during the start sequence. And hopefully everyone will be able to understand that and we'll be okay. Just reading some of the comments, people saying that they went on the green lights and they didn't receive a
Connie got a
penalty.
penalty when going on green.
Oh, yeah. So that's difficult then, isn't it? Can people get away with it, or will that cause a few more issues if everyone goes on the green? That's it's definitely a hard one, isn't it? I don't think anyone really expected this. It's I'm sure they must have tested a race here before actually running the track. So whether it's just a server issue, I don't know. It's a very, very strange one indeed.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to have a practice start here to make sure that everybody does not get the penalties on the start. We're not going to do a formation lap, even though it's set that we're going to do it. Everyone should just stay on the grid and wait for the formation lap to cancel itself, and we'll be sure to see what goes on here as soon as the first green light happens. We are going to do this practice start, and if anyone gets any penalties, they will report it to Sven de Vries.
Yeah. So we won't bother going through the grid or anything like that. It's all the same as before, and we'll just see what happens. And well, if it doesn't work out the way it does, then we'll have to try and work something out. But I think this is the best thing to do now. Do a practice start, see what happens, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back to some kind of normality, or at least there'll be a contingency plan in place once we've done this. So this isn't the real start. This is just a quick practice. So we'll keep the cameras rolling, but just remember that this is all just for test purposes. It doesn't actually count towards anything.
Yep, apparently when the lights are green, we are going to start the test, and yeah, the formation lap should just cancel itself if nobody moves here. And here we go. Is this going to happen or not? Yep, lights are green. But unfortunately, people have not gone. Not everyone went on the start.
Yeah, so I went on board with Simoncic there, and the lights went green, and then he went obviously on the green lights, and then you could hear it. I hope you could hear it in the broadcast like we can. But about 2 seconds after that, you get the klaxon horn that signals the start of the race, and R factor 2. That's what this sim does. So interesting stuff there. I don't know why people didn't go on the green, whether they didn't understand or if they can't see the lights, or maybe they're getting a different set of lights further back that are running differently.
Yep, apparently
Pe
now people are saying they got a penalty on the. There's
yeah,
conflict, so I would just say go on the horn.
yeah. The
Oh,
problem
apparently it's only coloured green. There you go.
is it colour green, but it's not green. Interesting. Oh, is it because then it should be just a set of red lights?
Yeah, and
And
it's green for
yeah,
some reason.
yes, I think that's what it must be then. So everyone should ignore the green lights, pretend they're red. We can't see them anyway from our TV cams, so it doesn't affect us. I just hope that everyone can actually hear the horns. At least if the lights go out, the horn goes up at the same time, I think, so people could probably still use a visual aid if they need to.
Yeah, well, I would say yeah. I don't know what's apparently. Oh, we're going to start on the track lights, not the start lights. So they have to turn green, and not the start lights. And honestly, I would just go on the start horn. It's just making it more difficult than it has to be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm going to do one more test apparently. I can't find this a little bit if this has happened now, but it's like they don't want me to race.
it's the strangest thing ever. I'm quite surprised that we no one before and actually tried racing around here. But I guess it's a bit of a learning curve. The whole series, the whole league is fairly new, so it's hopefully a good pointer for the future that everything just does need to be thoroughly tested, and I've seen that in more, I guess, inverted commas, professional series or
Yeah,
TV series that they've had similar issues or different teething problems that haven't really been picked up on prior to the race. But that's
yeah.
just the way sim racing goes sometimes.
Well, Up Factor 2 can be pretty tricky software sometimes, let's be honest. So it probably isn't, we're having these issues, but we're solving them. That's the thing. We're making progress.
Yeah, absolutely. At least everyone's been given a fair chance, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this soon enough. So this is another practice start. Yeah, it's not a natural start. We're just going to see how the lights work and see if everyone agrees and we could get a fair start in here.
Yep, I'm just going to watch it from the like of Garrett DeVries, who can probably see the track lights. There's maybe people who can't see the track lights, but there may be people who can. But yeah, it's the big square lights at the start of the bridge we're looking at this time instead of the track lights. So let's see what happens. Let's see if anybody goes. Oh, yep, there has been goers. Well, yep, and now there's the start. Eros Mashuli did it right.
Yeah, people who paid attention to the track lights got it right, didn't they? Whether there's a few communication issues, there is a lot of chatter going on, so people might have missed it. This is really when you need like a communal talk in TeamSpeak, don't you? You need to get everyone into a channel and have a race briefing or something.
I think I've just explained that it's the square lights is what we're looking at. Those are the track lights, the square ones. Well,
it seems to be Joshua has become the voice.
Yep,
of...
Sven's got it. There are squares that will flash green.
It's greatly put. No one knows what a track light is, and everyone knows what a big square light is. That's the best way of putting it, Josh. Good effort.
Yeah, well, people are now saying that it can start with a normal start light and it's fine.
Yeah, I think what happens is that if you ignore the fact that the final row of lights are green on the start lights, if you go when all the lights go out, I think they do actually start at the right time. It's just for whatever reason someone's coloured them in green. Design a track and it doesn't. Maybe it was designed for another game and it doesn't work on this one. The way the light sequence
Yeah,
works.
I would be tempted at this rate just to do a double file rolling. That solves everything.
The only problem with that is then you have to decide who's gonna let the field go.
Yeah, and then there has to be a server restart to change it. Well.
And then a lot of guys maybe have never done rolling starts before, might have a few issues. This is all on the fly as well. don't forget, about 10 minutes ago, we didn't think about this issue at all. We never thought this was going to happen. We thought we'd be racing right now and getting on with it. So definitely a difficult one to come to a fair decision on. And there's still a few discussions going on in the server at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it is the squares that we're going off. The magic squares that will lead us into the race eventually. So, yeah, we're going off the track horn and the squares, and that should be fine. But people are saying that they can go on the normal lights and not get penalties. But they are the safe ones, the track lights. It is a shame that we have to do this, though, because the normal track lights should work.
They should work, absolutely, yeah. I can't believe this has happened. Literally never seen this before. I know I've already said that, but I'm so in disbelief about it all. So I think they have, like you just said, James, Josh. I think they have come to a decision, and it looks like everything's probably going to get reset in terms of the grid, and we're going to go racing.
Yeah, I'm just going to go double check what the rule is with Sven to be sure. I'll just go do that now.
Right, so Josh goes away. He's running down the pits right now to go speak to the league admin about this. He's like our own Ted Kravitz running around getting all the latest info. So a few more discussions taking place, but of course, when we do go again, which it does look like it's going to happen, the field will be set through the qualifying order. It won't be on any of the, well, it won't be on the original start. It'll be based on the qualifying, and Josh has returned. So any updates, Josh?
Yep, I've just spoke to Sven. He says the official word is that we're going off the track lights or when the race time hits 0 and everybody's R factor hood.
Got it. So
because they're synced up. So we're going to do that, and that's how it's going to start the race. And we will be going based on that. And if anyone messes it up, it's on them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I hope no one's caught out by it, though. At least we've had a couple of goes to practice, and I hope no one jumps the start as well, due to maybe not getting the information, not seeing the information. Otherwise, this is really not going to play out. So the grid is being set now, and I think any second now we're going to switch to the actual race. This will be the actual race this time, not another test start, and we'll have another formation lap once again. Let the drivers warm up the tyres, get the brakes warm, and then we'll be underway.
Yep, we're going to be legit racing here at WCS. We're actually going to be getting underway for this 40-minute race, followed by a 20-minute race. But we're going to do it. We are going to get there and get this race underway. We're going to have the formation and the start using the track lights, which are the squares, everybody. Although we knew that.
Yep. I think they do also link up as well with the horns, don't they? So hopefully for anyone that's going to be watching, I think it'll probably be a TV view start like typical, so you probably won't be able to see any of the lights anyway, so just pay attention to the horns, and hopefully I'll get it right as well. So the cars pull away for the second time of asking for the formation lap, and well, this is really going to be interesting here. We just hope that everyone gets it right. Apologies for the delay. It has been about a 10-minute delay from when we should have got racing, but I hope you guys all at home are happy enough to have stuck around at least, just so we can get it sorted out. I think it has been sorted fairly quickly and well addressed, and appropriate idea to try some test starts also. So fair play for doing that, and fingers crossed it's all definitely going to work. We won't bore you with the grid once again, just to remind you though that of course Simic is on pole from Eros Mashuli, and your championship leader Sven de Vries is starting from 5th place on the grid. We have 31 cars in this session, so no one's dropped out during all of that. Everyone is still here, and like you said, Josh, Eros Masuli was your pick for win of the race. He's still winning after that first abandoned start?
He's still my pick. I'm staying faithful. I'm going to pick Eros again. I'm hoping that he will be able to do it. Although, for the interests of interest, I'm going to say, do keep an eye out for Whoopke Hoekstra as well. He's not half bad in Formula Cars, Whoopke. If things go wrong with the 5 ahead of him, he could find himself with a surprise lead and maybe surprise victory.
Yeah, of course, he had a chance last time out in Monza, didn't he? But unfortunately, he had to go back into the pits a couple of times because I think he had a speeding issue. His pit limiter never came on and got caught speeding during his mandatory stop. And with Simičić dropping out in race 1 in Monza, Hoekstra was probably going to win the race. So he really probably is another guy who has got a point to prove here, and a 6th place start is nothing to sniff at either. That's a really good effort. So we'll see what he has to do as we come round to the final couple of corners now. Simičić is bringing them round to the chicane and onto the grid. So just a quick reminder again that these drivers have been instructed to look at the big square track lights or go off what the time says on their hood. The timer drops to 0 when the race starts. So hopefully all 31 guys have got this under control. We'll be keeping our eagle eyes out for any jump starters or non-starters on this grid as the guys line up now. This is really a bit of a shot in the dark, isn't it, Josh? But hopefully we'll all be able to get this going.
Yeah, hopefully we will do. We will get the race started and see how they go.
Yep, so Josh Leonard takes 31st in the final grid slot position at the back, and a couple of drivers just sorting out their positions. So all the guys are now on the grid just about. We've once again got a bit of a long delay before the lights do turn on. So here we go, the lights are on and the engines have rise once again. And oh, that's a jump start from Jason Muscat.
Oh!
But gets away just about. Oh, there's been a huge crash behind, hasn't there? Huge crash behind. A few cars caught in there, and Jurek Simičić gets away though, and Jason Muscat into second once again. But of course, he jumped the start there, so we'll have to see if he gets a penalty or not. It's really hard to tell. And look at that, Sven de Vries is onto the grass as he tries to go up the inside of Kevin Siggy down the straight towards the hairpin, and Simičić leading with Muscat looking behind. Simičić going defensive a little bit early on, and they're 2x2 further back, and it's all getting a bit tight in there. Siggy's been muscled out a little bit. He drops down to 8th place with Olsen and Hoekstra picking up positions there as well as they go side by side. Sven de Vries is up into 3rd, so Mashuli's had a terrible start, down from 2nd to 4th place at the start, and Hoekstra's looking onto the back of him as well, but Olsen's up the inside. A great move by Olsen. He moves into 5th position there, and Hoekstra moves back down to 6th with Francesconi. Kevin Sigyn close behind as well as we run to the final sector, and Simičić going through the Imola chicane there, looking very strong so far. He's got about 1 second lead over Jason Muscat as he rounds the final couple of corners and runs down this straight towards the chicane at the end of the first lap. De Vries has started off well, of course, and he is getting closer and closer to Jason Muscat. Muscat's already looking in his mirrors, and Olsen is now up into 4th place. He gets past Masciuli as well, so a cracking start by Olsen. He's looking very, very strong in this first lap. A good effort, and already up to 4th and working on the leaders as well.
Yeah, just to take it back to that start and take you through what happened, because I got it on replay here. I think it was Roy Schroden first involved. He didn't really get going. Patrick Van der Moller went into him because Wesley Stefano was on the outside of him. Couldn't really go anywhere, could Patrick. And then that just caused the chain reaction. Roy Schroden went into Niels Brugman. And then Patrick Van der Moller, having made that collision, went into Terence Grech, who went ballistic there. And then the RTS cars, etc., kept going. And then Van der Moller was completely blasted from behind by Josh Downard, who pretty much went straight into him. And that's how Van der Moller then got further involved. And then the obviously sorting out from that occurred, but it was a pretty weird start, which caused a couple of cars to go off, and Otto Seinen is out of the race already.
Yeah, it looks like the guys got caught up there as there's contact between Sven de Vries and Jason Muscat in the middle part of the track, down at the 180-degree corner, and well, de Vries has got through now, so Muscat is down into 3rd place, and Olsen's already onto the back of Muscat, so these two battling has really allowed Olsen to catch up, and he's looking up the inside of Muscat there. Muscat's left the door open for him, and it looks like they're still going to be side by side, and also can't quite finish the move off as they go down towards the Lisi pin. And once again, Olsen's got the inside here. Can Muscat hold on around the outside? He's looked like he's struggling a bit, and Olsen takes the position through the final chicane, although runs a bit wide, gets a bit loose, and that gives Muscat the chance. He's going back up the inside towards turn 1, and Olsen has to leave space for him, and they're 2 by 2 as Mashuli and Hostra are side by side behind them as well. And it looks like Olsen has finally got the position, but of course down to the hairpin, Muscat's going to get a great toe and could get position back.
Yeah, I've just noticed as well he got a drive-through penalty for that jump start, but it's been removed. So obviously Sven de Vries must have done something about that. Either remove it, perhaps he'll get penalised after the race for it. But for now, he will not be saving that drive-through, Jason Muscat, even though we think he jumped the start.
Yeah, it certainly looked like he went, or any of the other drivers kind of went and then stopped and then went again. So it was just the case that he probably just preempted the conditions that we had, the strange conditions for the start that we had. But he's moved back to 4th position now. Olsen's secured that position now and pulled away from Muscat a little bit as well. So a good battle for about a lap there between the two, but Muscat is falling into clutches now of Hoekstra and Mashuli as well, who are right behind him as we go towards the end of yet another lap here at Magny Cours. And well, Muscat is certainly looking like he's looking in his mirrors more than anything else. Meanwhile, Simoncic is really not looking in his mirrors. He's 2.5 second lead over Sven de Vries in 2nd position, and he's really shown the field how it's done.
Yeah, I've just seen the mother of all escapes from Stefan Ruolt. Mike Quinton is out of the race, and it's actually because of an incident he had ahead of Ruolt. He mounted the final curve, went a bit too straight on. Wesley Stefano's now had a drive-through removed, and Ruolt actually just by a millimetre missed Quint, who himself by a millimetre had crashed into the final barrier, lost his front right, and then Ruolt just goes down the inside, narrowly misses him and gets away. Stefan is currently fighting for P10. He's trying to catch Philip Koenig and trying to get away from Mike Renault, the 12th placed RTS of Chris Kinsman, sorry. But what an escape from Ruolt. He was so lucky to miss that car.
Yeah, it really was. And while all that was going on, Mike Francesconi for Pescara also had a spin down the Lucy pin, a bit of a clumsy one, and didn't really hit anything, but it just cost him a few positions. He's all the way down in 19th position now. As Hoekstra looks up the inside of Muscat, and there's contact between the two. And Hoekstra spins round by about 90 degrees and loses a ton of positions. So he goes from 5th place all the way down to 10th place in the field. And well, that was a bit of a late one by Hoekstra, and just about avoided all the other cars around him after collecting Muscat there. Muscat got away with it as well, luckily for him. That just means that Hoekstra's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, looking at that one, actually, Jason lost in on the brake, and he got oversteering on the brake, and maybe locked the rear tyres a bit. Then the car spun round, and he goes into the side of Hoekstra, who himself spins, goes round, and has that 90-degree spin, and then gets off the track. So Muscat locked up on the brake, and can't really help that. It does happen sometimes. So, I guess there are things like that to be done, and guess it was just a racing incident. You can't really help the rears locking sometimes, but Muscat still in 4th place. Wesley Stefano's now actually had a stop-go penalty removed from us as well, so maybe just being a bit exuberant with track limits at the moment, Wesley, possibly just needs to dial it back a bit.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it, as Milan and Koenig are going side by side down towards the hairpin. This is for 8th and 9th place on the grid, and Koenig looks to the inside of Milan, but Milan shuts the door on him, and that actually allows Hoekstra a good exit out of the hairpin as well, and he goes right past Koenig and takes the position. So Hoekstra back up into 9th, and Koenig just got caught out a little bit there. It had a compromised line into the hairpin and lost that place.
Yeah, that's not going to help him very much at all, and well, he'll have to fight to get that back now. And, well, Tobias Olsen chasing Sven de Vries for P3 as well. Olsen really giving it the beans on the American here on this 4th lap of 27. It is only 4 laps out of 27, man. We still got a lot of this race have to go, but Olsen really giving no quarter, and de Vries here got Muscat chasing down as well. Janis Simoncic still leading this race in P1, of course, because that is where the leader is. But he's having a pretty good race in this so far, Janis, and barring any mechanical failures last time out at Monza, he should be a potential candidate to win this. And with a lead like that, you wouldn't really put it past it at all.
No, certainly not. He's definitely kept stable between himself and de Vries over the last couple of laps, and that's exactly what he needs right now. It's just a bit of clean air by himself. Olsen is looking very strong though, chasing after De Vries and actually getting closer and closer to De Vries as well. So incredible amount of pace early on here by Olsen. We'll see if he could keep it up, whether he's hurting the tyres a bit, I don't know, but that is really impressive stuff, and I did not see that coming from where he started on the grid either. Really strong performance by Olsen so far, already up 5 places from his starting place.
Yep, good enough in that sense, yeah. And well, this battle for 6 is starting to heat up between Leinek and Siggy here. Kevin Siggy on the back of Matchy as they go round now into the 180 after coming through the Nürburgring 7, and then Siggy tries to go down the inside, but it's not going to work out for him. He's not got the line or the speed, and he will not be able to get this position done yet. Matchy Leinek, therefore, looking to be the favourite to come out of this battle as the leader, but then again, Siggy could go for it somewhere if he has the line, but at present it doesn't look like it's happening for the Austrian, and he's going to have to wait and see if it does. Mind you, Leinek is chasing Micheli, who seems out of place in 5th almost. He's having a bit of difficulty catching back up to Jason Muscat.
Yeah, certainly. Micheli, of course, started 2nd today, and definitely hasn't looked like a 2nd place driver ever since. He's struggled to retain any positions, and just breathing it. Oh, look at that! Hoekstra's gone off in the background. He's gone off at the final chicane, and was there a bit of contact there? I'm not too sure. It was close between himself. Oh no, he just lost it on the way into the chicane. I think it just got a wheel on the AstroTurf and the braking point towards the chicane, and did a good job of keeping it out the wall. I think just about.
Oh, here we go. Olsen and De Vries, sorry to interrupt you there, Sam, are having a big go at it for P2, and Olsen tries to dive down the inside of Adelaide there, but it hasn't worked out for the Swede, and he's going to have to wait now until 180 to have a go. After this, he's not going to try through Nürburgring, obviously, because it's not the corner where you go for it, but he tries to set it up, gets made squiggly over the curb there, and Olsen now is going to try and force it through here. 180, he's going to try and get the line, but it's not working out for him, so De Vries doing a great job of defending.
Yeah, really good battling between these two, and it's just showing Olsen's definitely got the pace at the moment. He seems to be quicker than both De Vries and Simojic up in front as well. So can Olsen have another go at De Vries? He's looking all over the back and trying all kinds of different lines into the corners. He's going to be going down towards the Lisi pin now, and then the final chicane after that. And well, there's a back marker in the way as well, but luckily he doesn't get involved. Yeah, already getting lapped, but well, he kept out of the way well there, and it did mean that Olsen couldn't really have a chance at having a go at De Vries, but keeping him honest still, and the two are definitely pushing hard right now, as I'm sure the next place where Olsen will try and get past is down at the Adelaide hairpin, and it really depends on whether he can keep the momentum through Estoril. Down straight now, he's looking a little bit far back, and I don't think the slipstream is quite that effective around this track, so I don't think he's going to have a chance into Adelaide. But yeah, De Vries didn't even feel like the need to defend there, and also actually gets a bit loose coming out of the hairpin as well, so he just needs to regroup and just gain those couple of extra attempts back.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do now, just try and regroup, refocus, get those tenths back, get the chance get back where he was before, and that's what he's doing. Olsen really giving chase to De Vries here, and well, he knows he has to, because lap 13 is coming up, which will be the halfway point of this race, and that's when people may start to take the pit stops, and we'll see really who is in dominant form coming into the second half of the race. But all signs point to it being a Jurgen Simojic victory, unless something happens. And speaking of something happening, Olsen is going to try and force him on the outside of Chateau d'Eau there, and it's not going to quite work. And also, well, now it's going to work. Is it going to work? He's going to have a run into Complex de Lycée, and he may have just set it up perfectly through that corner. Breaks, he's got the inside, and Olsen pulls off quite an interesting move there to get into second.
Yeah, really thought about that well. T. Olsen set up.
Oh, and here goes De Vries on the comeback.
Yeah, he's got it back. De Vries has also just loose and went wide coming out the final chicane, and De Vries just stuck it back up the inside, and even before we got to turn one, he made the position back. But now through Estoril, Olsen's right on De Vries' tail and all over his gearbox this time around, much closer than he was last time around down the back straight here towards Adelaide, and already goes to the outside. De Vries hugging the inside white line and knows he has to stay defensive. Also thinking about taking it up the inside, but there's no room, and there's still in contact between the two. Down Adelaide, and De Vries manages to come out of it just defended strong enough there, I guess, to hold Olsen off.
Yeah, he held the defence well enough there. Managed to squeeze Tobias out to the outside, but not too far outside as to really block him. And to give him enough of a chance, without really giving him a chance, Olsen tries to sneak down the inside of 180, but it isn't going to work. And Olsen is going to chase De Vries for a bit longer now if he wants to get this position done and dusted. I would like to divert your attention back to 5th place, though, because Eros Mashuli is chasing Jason Muscat too, just for a short while, just to keep you occupied. But here comes Olsen down the outside of De Vries again!
Yeah, there we go. Olsen doing the same thing as last time. And De Vries this time around prevents Olsen from getting the switch back on De Vries. Olsen actually lost a little bit of time there, so I don't think there's going to be any move into the final corner. But Olsen further back, it looks like it's all line astern, isn't it? No one's really trying anything through the final complex there.
Siggy round!
Siggy has gone round there. Just about gets away with it without losing position, or does he? Yes, Milan goes past him into turn 1, so that's costly for Siggy.
That has hurt in one position. He's going to have to try and get that. Andy's tyres will be flat spotted now, which means they're not going to perform to the standard. It will be irritating for him. And obviously there's problems that go along with that. We've got a sort of extended train forming for P2 now. We've got Olsen and De Vries having the roll-out battle, and then Muscat, Mashuli and Leinek are all reasonably close together. Leinek on the outside of Adelaide on Mashuli here. It's not going to work out for him, I don't believe, but he's going to have a very good run for the next couple of corners.
Yeah, side by side between the two of them, and they both can't go to Nürburgring like this, can they? Who's going to come out on top? And Leinek thinks better of it and just holds back, and Mashuli takes and holds on to 5th place there. Good battling between the two, and a wise choice really by Mlinek to pull out of that one. As look at that, I'm looking as well, and it really is starting to tighten up between the top few drivers here, as I think Muscat is getting a little bit closer to Olsen, and Olsen is starting to close back up again on Sven De Vries, so probably looking to go for another attack. Siggy also very close to Milan for 7th and 8th position, so quite a few battles to look out for as we head into lap 10.
Yep, and what a lap it's good looking to be if this has been the case so far. And Simincic is just starting lap, well, it is actually lap 11. I think his lap counter is 1 behind on what you think it is. This is the 11th lap of the race, therefore, and Simincic still leading, of course, as you rightly say. But a couple of interesting battles definitely starting to spring off. I would keep an eye on this whole Mashudi Mylek battle, because he had to go around Adelaide last time. It's maybe not going to work out for him if he does that, but if he can get the inside of Adelaide, which Mashudi's not going to make it easy to do, he has a serious shout, unless Mashudi goes to the inside and then makes a hash of it, in which case Macchi should have the corner himself. But either way, the Italian's not going to make it easy for him. Goes to the inside, and I think Mlynek deciding he's not going to go for it if he doesn't know he can get it.
No, he's didn't think about diving in there. He's just held back enough, and well, it looks like Mashuli is still holding on to that 5th place. He's had it for a while now, but certainly been under a lot of pressure, and I think Mashuli's just doing a very good job of defending at the moment to hold on to that position. Maybe just waited for the pit stops. Maybe he's got a couple of issues with the car that he needs sorting out, as Hoekstra moves back into the top 10 now as he goes past Koenig down in the middle sector of the track, and they're actually still pretty close together, nearly side by side, go towards Imola, and I don't think Koenig's quite going to be able to hold on and has to slot back in behind Hoekstra, so he confirms that 10th position now.
Yeah, well, he managed to get in front, and then the dirty air for Philip did not work through Imola, and he had to yield, unfortunately for him. But he's going to have a run again, as in these next couple of corners, a potential setup for him. Do keep an eye on Philip Koenig if he wants to try and go for it. I've just seen somebody have a bit of an excursion there, but I'm not sure who it was, but it wasn't major either way. But Simincic is starting to get caught by Sven De Vries, I feel, if only chip by chip, because De Vries looks a bit closer than he was before. 2.4 seconds the gap now, whole second to Tobias Olsen, and then whole 1.5 to Jason Muscat, then who's then got a second to Mashuli. But this whole Mlynek Mashuli battle, not really going anywhere anymore. I don't think Macchi's got the, really, either Eros has picked the pace up or Macchi's lost some pace. But Mashuli now starting to catch Muscat, although probably closest battle at the moment, one of those.
Yeah, they've all spot just a little bit now, haven't they? They were all about a good 7 or 8 tenths of a second apart between a few of them, so perhaps the tyres are starting to just hold the drivers back a little bit, not being able to grip the track as much. Even Milan and Siggy have spread out just a bit as well now. So yeah, for about the whole top 10, 11, and even further back, it's no one's quite close enough to the person ahead. Although look at Olsen, he's actually started to put the pressure on De Vries once again as we head to the end of this lap, and De Vries is actually looking in his mirrors as Olsen gets really up close and personal behind him, and well, you have to be so careful for that final chicane because you can lose so much momentum, but that really costs you all the way down through this next complex of corners. Very fast left-hander into a long right-hander that just carries on for so long before you hit the straight towards the hairpin, and De Vries just about keeping ahead of Olsen in terms of just having a big enough gap that Olsen can't challenge him down into this hairpin, meaning that Olsen has to just be patient, although he locks up his tyre, his front right quite heavily there, and actually missed the apex a little bit, so that will cost Olsen a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think the field's starting to spread out in places at the moment, and Gerrit de Vries is actually coming to the pits now on lap 13. I think he thinks he's got nothing to lose from 22nd. I come in a little earlier, and he will be one of the first to come in, just down at us as well, from what will be his 11th lap of the race, because he's a lap down, remember. And I guess this lets some of the lap traffic back through, so it's kind of kills two birds with one stone, so to speak. But I wonder if Janusz Simic is going to come in, because he's on lap 13 now. He'll be going on to lap 14. This will be the halfway point of the race, so if Janusz comes in, maybe Sven will have enough room to react, as will Olsen, as will Muscat, as will Mashuli. So everyone's probably going to react to each other or not react to each other in these next couple of laps.
Yep, this definitely seems about the right time. It'll be this lap or the next lap for the majority of drivers, and a few just going on a little bit further, as we saw in Monza. So far, the top 4, top 5, top 6 have all gone through without pitting. So no one's electing to pit in just yet. It looks like the drivers want to make this first one a little bit longer. Something happened, Josh?
Sorry, a bit of contact between Kinsman and Brugman, but Brugman's gotten through on Kinsman for 12th. Michael Francesconi round as well from P14. Hayes had a spin at the final cut chicane there, and Hay will probably find himself in the pits very soon if those tyres are flat spotted.
Yeah, certainly. I'm sure he'll be around this time around, and that's the second time Francesconi's had this race, so struggling a little bit with this track. Certainly not showing the form he had in Monza, where he looked very strong indeed, as did his teammate Mashuli back in Monza, but this time around maybe just needs a little bit more, and we'll be hoping for more, I'm sure, in the second race as well. So we're on another lap, and we're still waiting for these drivers to come in. I think this is really where it's all going to start spicing up, as the drivers are still fairly close together, especially in the top 10, or each of the guys can see each other further back, as De Vries comes out, and he's 3 seconds behind Sivicic, so that gap's maintained itself fairly well. It hasn't changed too much over the course of this race. It's been about 2.5 to 3 seconds as the drivers come around, completing another lap, and look at Muscat now. He's got a train of cars behind him all of a sudden.
Yeah, he does. He has quite a few cars behind now, and boy, Milan in the pits. He's decided to jump in that multiforce to get his pit stop done and out the way on lap 14 for him. And Simic still has not. Neither has De Vries, Muscat, the likes. So I think the front runners deciding to pit as late as possible, whereas Boyer's coming in to get it out the way.
Yep, he's made it stop now, and he'll be coming back out on track. He's tumbling down the order somewhat at the moment, as Matt Richards just goes past into 14th, and it's going to be close between Milan and Francesconi as they come round into Estoril. Francesconi takes 15th, and Christopher Lichtenstein takes 16th as well. And well, I don't think Milan quite saw him coming, and just had to get out of the way at the last second, so he drops back to 17th, and he's got a bit of traffic as well, so that's not going to help him. But Muscat is certainly holding Mashuli, Olsen and Linek up right now, so perhaps he's suffering on these tyres more than the guys behind him, and he's created quite a train, and this is going to get really tasty when all these guys pit. It'll be fantastic if they all pit at the same time.
It is, because their advantage has been neutralised, so it's going to be pretty much a straight fight when they come out of the pits again. So it'll be very interesting to see if that happens. It'll be a battle on fresh tyres and IR fuel if they're allowed to refuel in this series. And Simičić still does not pit. He will go now on his 16th lap without pitting, as will Sven de Vries deciding to stay out. Maybe he's going to pit when Simičić does. Perhaps Simičić is waiting deliberately. Muscat in. Maybe he's trying to get Sven de Vries to use his tyres more, and it's a clever strategy if he has. Mashuli has stayed out, Kevin Siggy has stayed out, as has Rualt, as has Hoekstra, as has Koenig, Brugman, Kinsman. So a lot of drivers, well, they haven't even maybe, yeah, Kinsman definitely just, yeah, Brugman in though. And as does Menno Clont, he's reacting, Matt Richards is reacting, Michael Francesconi chooses not to, so a lot of drivers choosing to stay out.
Yeah, I've just realised here, sorry, I completely missed this, but Olsen is behind Mashuli, and he, of course, was behind de Vries, wasn't he, a couple of laps ago, so something's happened to Olsen out on track. Just before the pit stops here, he's lost a couple of positions, and, well, that's going to be costly, and that's given de Vries some breathing room right now, and he continues to maintain a gap between himself and Simičić. Hasn't really been able to close down at all, but Olsen's definitely lost a few seconds here.
He definitely has. He's lost a couple of seconds, and he'll have to try and make those. Apparently, also knocked and crashed into the Vries' Argo Teder. So, yeah, that maybe is what happened with Tobias Olsen. But yeah, he'll have to try and get that time back.
He certainly will. He's just passed Mashuli, moved back up into third place, but a full 4 seconds behind de Vries. Now let's hope that de Vries didn't get any damage from the contact with Olsen. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I think the broadcast might have picked it up, so you guys at home probably know more than we do right now. But we'll see what happens. De Vries is now into the pit, so he's taken his one and only pit stop, and Olsen, Mashuli, and Mlinik all carry on.
Yeah, I think he decided he'd had enough of waiting around for James Simičić to pit. He's tried to try and undercut him, and this may work out, it may not work out. He'll have fresher rubber. Simičić is going around, so he'll gain time there, and he'll gain time back when Simičić pits, but Simičić will have fresher rubber by the end, so there's pros and cons to both. Kinsman and Rualt in as well. I think a couple more drivers are choosing to jump now.
Yeah, they certainly are. De Vries coming out of the pit, and he's got that marker behind him, so that won't be too much of an issue. But further back is Jason Muscat, and let's just have a look between the two once the timing updates. How far away is de Vries and Jason Muscat? Because that's going to kind of tell us where everyone else is going to come out in relation to these guys as well. It's about 2 seconds then, 2.5 seconds between de Vries and Muscat, which was pretty much where it was before the pit stops as well. So not too much gained or loss by just pitting a lap later for de Vries. So now really for Olsen and Mashuli, they really need to get on with it and to try and close the gap to the likes of de Vries and Muscat once they pit. And of course Simičić, he's just got to keep on doing what he's doing and setting in those fantastic laps. He comes round and goes on once again, so a really long stint this one for Simičić so far. He's going to be doing, well, less than 10 laps on this set, on his set tyres once he decides to pit. Also, Mashuli and Mlinik all in now, so second, third, and fourth all pitting.
Yeah, he is in, and it is obviously that means that they've decided, now's the time to jump and, get on the fresher rubber. Janis Simičić, still to have not pitted, he is now done. He's going to be on lap 18, and he's still on those tyres. And yeah, he does have to make a pit stop, but he's doing a pretty good job of this at the moment, and he's going to have really fresh rubber when he comes out. But the problem is he now going to lose too much time to cars that are on fresher rubber? It doesn't look like it, because pretty much all of his laps have been within 2 seconds of each other.
Yeah, just looking here whilst all that was going on, Olsen is right behind de Vries, so he hasn't lost much time at all. And he goes to the outside of de Vries, go down towards Adelaide. Only just come out of the pits, and he's already challenging de Vries for what will be a net second position once this all shakes out. And, well, I can't believe the amount of time that Olsen's made up for de Vries. He must have had some kind of issue in traffic, maybe, after pitting in, because that's certainly a lot of time lost. There was 4 seconds between the two of them before the pit stop, so now they're neck and neck. And Mlinik's also done a good job just behind Olsen. He's leapfrogged a couple of cars. Muscat's down into 7th place now, as Olsen once again has a look at de Vries, but of course go through the fast chicane of it. Oh, and Olsen's nearly lost it under braking. Whoa! He got a real slide on there, had to correct it, and I thought he was actually going to spear off the track, but well held by Olsen there, and just holds on to it for the moment. But I think he just needs to get those tyres warmed up first before he starts challenging De Vries.
Yeah, I just need to get the tyres back up to temperature, back up to racing speed before he does. Philip Koenig comes into the pits now. He will lose track position. Simičić is still out, and it's lap 19. And I'll tell you why. All of his last, 13, 14 laps have been within 8/10 of each other. On these old tyres, he sees no reason to pit. He's not being impeded by those tyres. He's going to stay out until he loses sufficient time. If that means stopping on the last lap, so be it.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for that. I don't know if you're allowed to hit.
I think the only rule is you have to make a stop.
Okay, that's fair enough. If he thinks that's going to save him time, then well, by all means, go for it. But that would be an absolutely crazy strategy, wouldn't it? If he pitted on the final lap, it kind of reminds me of what was it? Something like Silverstone '98 when Schumacher took his stop-go on the final lap of the race. That was quite crazy and controversial thing at the time. I remember it'd be quite a feat if Simičić did that. We'll have to wait to see though. He's still going around, as is Kevin Siggy in second place, and well, Siggy is all by himself at the moment, 11 seconds behind Simičić, but a full 15 seconds ahead of De Vries as well. Olsen's a further second back from De Vries, not quite challenging him as much as he was, maybe just yep, Siggy pits in, not challenging De Vries as much. So Siggy pits in now. Where is Siggy going to come out?
Well, we'll have to say, I think Sven's going to get through on him. Going to exit the pits now as Kevin Siggy. I'm going to watch to see how far behind he is on Simičić as he crosses the start finish, because it'll be about 30 seconds. Yeah, it's 28.1. So he's lost 17 seconds there. So I think Simičić has a pit stop in the gap. He's got a 26-second gap to De Vries. He should have a pit stop in that gap.
Yeah, he should do. It's probably worth watching the first timing split that Siggy will go through. That will give us the exact amount of time that Siggy has lost in the pit stops. He was 11 seconds behind Simičić before he pitted in, and he's now 31. So about 20 seconds then, isn't it, Josh? It looks like. So yeah, that would mean that Simičić would come out with a 6-second lead if he pitted right now.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be fazed by these wearing tyres at all, Dennis. He's just going for it. He's just like, nope, I'm going to go quicker. I mean, his last lap on these now, 20-lap old tyres was a 130.7, and that's just about where he's been this whole race. And Jernish now is going to do another lap. He's going to start lap 21 on the worn tyres.
Yeah, that is incredible pace, and no one else is really...
And it's a 130.5, he's not slowing down.
That is good consistency as well over the past 3 laps, all within less than 0.2 of a second of each other. And well, no one else behind him is actually going that kind of speed. You'll have to see what De Vries does when he comes round, but it doesn't look like he's going quite as quickly. And well, that just means that Simičić is extending that advantage more and more, just giving him more of a buffer when he does eventually decide to make his one and only pit stop of the race. And he'll just be hoping that there'll be no misdemeanors like in Monza, where he had issues with his engine after pitting in. Fingers crossed nothing like that happens to him. That surely was a devastating moment of Monza. So the cars finding their way through. We've only got a few laps left in this race, 6 laps left to go now, and De Vries is still in second. Something happened?
Oh no, I just noticed that Niels Brugman, I don't know how long ago he retired. It might have been a while ago, because Ring Hope starts on lap 18, and yeah. But Niels Brugman actually retired due to brake failure.
Well, that's a first one, isn't it? Very early on for a brake failure as well. Only 16 laps into the race. Perhaps he just didn't run any kind of ducting at all. Simičić does finally tin now, so he will be taking his one and only stop. And well, you can see there's a car in the background, but that's a back marker, so that's not Sven De Vries. So
yeah,
Sven De Vries.
De Vries is a while back. He's coming into the complex to Lycée now, and Jenny Simičić, he's leaving. Look how much of the gap he's got.
It's it's not even in the same frame, they're that far apart. There's a Gretsch and another car behind him, Brett Metcalf, and they're both lapped cars as well. So Simoncic comfortably comes out in the lead of this race. And I think it's going to be about 10 seconds the lead that he has once all the timing sorts itself out, and that is imperious, that kind of time that in this series, especially considering how close it's been at the front for the first few rounds in both the races. It's been so incredibly close. So Simoncic really laying down a marker today. It's 8.8 seconds the lead that he has over Sven de Vries, and de Vries is worried, I think, more about Tobias Olsen behind him for second and third right now, rather than Simoncic in front. That's a lost cause, really. Simoncic is that far ahead. De Vries will just be wanting to hold on to second place for the rest of this race.
Yeah, unless there is some sort of catastrophic issue on Jernic's part, Sven de Vries, it looks like a bit of an unassailable gap with about 5 laps in this race to go, you know, so he's really not got that much time to do. He's going to have to gain pretty much 2 seconds a lap to catch up to Jernic now. And with the form, the sheer form that the Serbian has shown, it's not going to be easy.
No, it's certainly not. And Olsen gets closer and closer to de Vries, coming down the final couple of corners. Just holds back there, just following de Vries' tracks, just seeing if he can get a good slingshot out the final corner. He's still right there. It's really going to be about the momentum that he can get through to his 1, 2 and 3. But, he touches the grass on the inside of turn 1. He's pushing so hard, is Olsen right now. De Vries is just ahead of him, and Olsen's just about hung onto the rear. Got a bit of an understeer there through Estoril and lost a little bit of time, but now gaining in the draft down towards Adelaide. De Vries decides to go defensive. Olsen picks the outside line, picked him very early actually. It's tried for the switchback here. De Vries goes to the outside. There's a bit of contact. Front wing to rear tire. Both the drivers get away with it, and Olsen can't quite get far enough along de Vries. He's too far back, go through Nürburgring, never going to overtake someone through there cleanly. And de Vries having to defend though, constantly, really aware of where Olsen is on the track. Definitely knows that Olsen's going to try and pounce at any second.
I don't think he can not know that that ice cold car is right behind him. He's just charging like a demon to be this Olsen. We know he's a hard charger, we know he's a quick driver, but he's given Sven de Vries severe strife in that satellite there. And if that wasn't enough S's for you, I'm sure Sven de Vries might be buttering a couple of S words out close to Tobias Olsen's getting. But he is still ahead of this race, is Sven. And, well, for now, he's got ahead of Tobias, but here he comes around the outside, going to try and make up a can't do, maybe going to line it up after this chicane, but Olsen will not go away.
He won't, will he? And Olsen's trying everything. He's braking early, he's braking late, he's taking the outside line, the inside line, and de Vries is just about hanging on at the moment, but Olsen is constantly there, like you said. Again, through the first couple of corners, Olsen just gets a bit of understeer and loses a slight bit of time, and maybe that's compromised him down towards Adelaide, but he's going to get closer and closer. De Vries already knows he's going to have to go defensive, and straight away onto the inside. Olsen's looking at the inside.
Well, he tried. This element. I mean, look at this Matty Blynex taking full advantage. He's there as well.
Oh, yeah, out of nowhere. Blynex.
Simoncic out.
What's happened?
Is that a disconnection? Because it just went straight out of the race, and, well, Simoncic, he disconnected. At the worst time.
Heartbreak for Simoncic. Once again, he's been robbed of a victory, just like he was in Monza. There's contact between the two, Olsen and de Vries. This is for the win now. This battle is for the win of the race, and it's a three-way battle. De Vries, Olsen, and Blinick all within half a second of each other. Sorry, and Muscat is looking on just behind as well. And, Olsen's looking on the inside of de Vries. Blinick's having a peek at Olsen as well. It's so close. There's a back marker in front also. This is all kicking off with only a few laps left to go. Suddenly this race here at Magny Cours has just turned up a notch or two. It's really, really exciting now. De Vries through the final chicane. The back marker finally gets out of the way, and Olsen's having trouble.
Meinex found the great drive out of the final chicane. He touches Olsen on the outside. Bit of contact with Meinex through. And now I think, now it's for the win. Now it's really getting serious because now Matty wants it. Now Tobias wants it more than he did before. And now Sven's desperate to hold on.
Yeah, look at this. It's actually a 5-car train. It's De Vries, Blinick, Olsen, Muscat, and Mashuli all now line astern. And Blinick's already looking at De Vries. He's going to the outside, down toward Adelaide. He's ahead right now. Can he get it turned in? De Vries takes the inside line. They're side by side, but Blinick gets such a good run out the corner. He takes the lead, and Olsen's there right now as well. Here we go down towards Nürburgring. Can De Vries hold it on the inside? Yes, he does. But just about, and Blinick out of nowhere has taken the lead of this race. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I think Theo van der Brink's just disconnected as well. This is not by any means a mass disconnection, but 2 cars within the space of some time of each other. It's not great, but Sven de Vries is thinking it's not great that he's currently stuck in second behind Blinick because he wants to get that place back. You can tell he wants it. He's looking everywhere, but he can't get away through. There's no doors open. Sven de Vries is going to have to barge one up when he wants to get through, but obviously doing that might incur a bit of a risk if he does it too harshly.
Yeah, Blinick here really having to go defensive straight away. Can't get away from De Vries. De Vries is not doing anything desperate, but he's putting his car right in the rear mirrors of Blinick as they finish in a lap. Oh, and look how loose
Matthew! No!
He's in the wall hard and actually gets away with it, but probably got suspension damage and drops back to 5th. So that means De Vries back into the lead now. Olsen in 2nd has Muscat, Jason Muscat, all over the back of him going through Estoril. And, well, it's all going to happen down at Adelaide, I feel, because Olsen has got nothing between himself and Muscat, and Mashuli's there as well. Look at that, Olsen's having to go defensive already. Muscat to the outside, Mashuli's thinking about going to the inside, but Muscat tries to go around the outside of Olsen. They're side by side coming out the corner, and surely Muscat's going to have the drive out the corner, but they're still going to be side by side, so down towards Nürburgring, there's going to be nothing between them. One of them's got to yield. Oh, there's contact!
Oh, Mashuli!
Contact!
Yeah, Mashuli was trying to go for both of them. He wanted to. He had 2 cars in front, and then Muscat just stopped altogether. He just think he might either he's hit someone or something, but he just stopped altogether. Hit a real slow point, and then Mashuli went into the back of him. Nothing can happen. He just said there was lag there, and that is not going to help. And well, for a while there, Sven de Vries found himself in what I like to call a Vandermuller scenario, because well, he was involved in one and somewhere else. But yeah, De Vries had the 2 cars behind chasing and catching and battling, and it's not worked out, but it's worked out for De Vries, who's going to start the final lap in the lead. But Tobias Olsen, if there wasn't a fire in his belly before, there's an inferno in his now.
Absolutely incredible scenes here. It's like the race that nobody wants to win. It's all happening right here in the final couple of laps. It did look like lag there from Jason Muscat. His car just kind of stopped or something.
Yeah, this is in fact the final lap as well, so Olsen's only got one more chance.
Yeah, this is it. Is the final chance for Olsen, and probably the best chance as well down towards Adelaide. But he's too far back at the moment. He's going to need a huge slipstream, a massive power boost or something to catch up with De Vries before we get down to the corner, and De Vries doesn't even bother defending. You know, he's going wide. He's gone wide.
That may have been his downfall.
Yeah, he had a chance there, Olsen, but De Vries actually got a good drive out the corner due to that wide line, so maybe not quite fully intentional, but helped him out just a little bit from getaway. But Olsen right behind De Vries now. De Vries once again on the defensive, having to look in his mirrors, having to take the defensive line. Olsen's going to get the better run out of these corners because he doesn't have to go to defensive.
I guarantee you Olsen's going to throw it in the Sano door. This is going to be an interesting one to watch this.
It really is. Brute imminent. Neck and neck there, back to front, and Olsen looking to the outside line. He's going to try and get a better drive on the corner. There's contact between the 2. De Vries tries to park
He's got one more chance.
The corner, and Olsen's right behind still. He has got one final chance now into the final couple of corners. The complex. De Vries goes defensive. Olsen goes to the outside.
Here we go.
They're side by side. De Vries
so
gets a good run out the corner and over the chicane. He just needs to survive the chicane and takes the win here at Magny Cours, wins it from Olsen. A tightly fought battle, really close, and somehow Sven de Vries has come out on top in an emphatic victory, a victory that was surely going to be taken by Jurne Simoncic before he disconnected his Hawkeye mate of Maciej Mlinek, or Maciej Mlinek I should say. He basically nearly won it himself for the team, taking it Olsen and De Vries, but unfortunately put it into the pit wall, but recovered recovered after that huge incident to take third place. So good effort by Mlinek to at least scavenge something from what looked like a nasty hit into the wall. Mashuli takes fourth after that contact with Muscat, claiming lag straight away as soon as he made contact, and I probably have to agree with him there as well. That's what it looked like on my screen. Kevin Siggy in fifth, a good effort by Siggy on his debut race for TG Racing, with the two multi-force balls of multi-force cars of Milan and Muscat in sixth and seventh. Hoekstra in eighth, Koenig in ninth, and Stefan Ruel will round out the top 10. Has already crossed the line. We're waiting for a couple more cars, but well, that was a bit of a slow burner, that race. It looked like it was all settled with a few laps to go, Josh, and then it all suddenly kicked off, beginning with that disconnection to Yannick Simoncic.
Yeah, that was the catalyst for it. And Sven de Vries, you cannot say he did not earn that. He pretty much just came back. Simoncic, yeah, it helped him, but almost lost it to Olsen in the final lap as well. I was about to say, never give a chance to Olsen because he'll take it with both hands grasping it. But Sven managed to hold him off by half a second in the end. Matti Majnek, he did manage to win there. And, well, he got into the lead, but he cracked under the pressure, I think. And, yeah, not really the best end to the race for him, but he did all right. Let's not forget that he did still third's respectable.
Yeah, considering where he is in the championship as well, he was 10th before he came in today, so a third place, his first podium in this F3 league as well is well, it's going to be one to be remembered. Maybe he might feel a little bit disappointed right now that he didn't win the race, but still a very good effort to come back from that incident to pick up third and not go completely off the road and onto the well, all over the place in a fit of rage or anger or anything like that. So really good effort, and well, I have only just about cleared my breath, Josh. That was truly incredible stuff. There's certainly a lot that happened throughout the field there, but right at the end, I didn't think we were going to get a battle for the win. We did. I hope Simoncic comes back because he must be absolutely traumatized right now. That's the second round in a row that he's had a victory taken away from him due to a DNF in the second part of race one. It always seems to be after he goes in for his pit stop that something seems to happen. And well, I could only guess at how he feels right now.
Well, he won't feel very happy from. Don't think Janice will be very happy from disconnecting. But he's got race 2. And speaking of race 2, I'll be back when it comes to race 2 because I'm going to go get something to eat.
Right, so as Josh leaves us for a little bit, just going out to get a hot dog from the burger stall behind us, I'm sure. But yeah, very interesting stuff nonetheless. And that means that Sven de Vries will extend his championship lead as well. He wins the race, and of course, his closest competitor, Lars Brugman, isn't here today, so he's taken no points at all. Hoekstra, who is in third in the championship coming into this round, managed to pick up an 8th place after being in the walls a little bit in the first half of the race. Just had a few excursions off track and recovered well enough to pick up 8th place. But certainly that means that De Vries continues to pick up the points while those around him really struggle because Brugman, of course, like I said, didn't race. Hoekstra finished 8th. Simoncic DNF'd. Francesconi finished down in 11th. Olsen was actually the best of the rest, really, in terms of De Vries's closest competitors for the championship. He picked up, of course, a second place, and that will certainly elevate Olsen up the championship quite a way as well. And a pleasant surprise was Olsen's performance there after starting in 8th place on the grid. He seems to be better in the races than he is in qualifying, and gave De Vries a run for his money, and certainly kept him honest throughout that race. And well, I don't know how De Vries managed to hold off Olsen for that entire race, because it pretty much was a battle for second between the two of them for the full 27 laps until the final 3 or 4 laps when, of course, Simoncic disconnected and the two of them then duelled it out for the lead, which De Vries came out on top. So now warm-up session has started. This is just an interlude between the two races, of course, before we go into the second race. The second race is shorter. It's a 14-lap race, I believe. So about just over half race distance of the first race. And no mandatory pit stop, so all the drivers will be out on track throughout the whole race without having to pit unless they really need to, due to any damage they might pick up. And that means that we will have full racing for the entire time. No drivers will be waiting to try and leapfrog anyone else into the pits. It'll be racing from lights to flag. And it always is exciting stuff in this second race. And of course, we'll be having the reverse grid as well, which is a top 10 reverse grid, which I remembered now from last time out. I originally thought that it was a randomly generated number, but it's not. It's the top 10 who get reversed. So that means that Stefan Ruel will actually be taking pole position for the second race today, with Philip Koenig alongside him on the front row. And well, those two had a decent run in the first race themselves around that position. I noticed Ruel dropped back a little bit, and Koenig was batting much of the race with Hoekstra and the likes for about 8th, 9th, and 10th place. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. And of course, take a quick glass of water. British will be returning. He has re-entered the session. Of course, with the commiserations coming from many around him as well, but he will be starting further back down the grid, definitely outside the top 20. I believe it's about 25th he'll be starting due to the final place that he finished after that disconnection. And Jason Muscat also, to wrap a few things up from that first race, has confirmed that he did indeed lag in that first race, and that's what caused that hit between himself and Mashuli, it looks like. And disappointing and unfortunate for Muscat, but at least he still managed to get a decent result out of it in 7th place, and that means, of course, he'll be taking 4th place on the grid for race 2. Oh, and I've just got confirmation, thank you Argo, who it seems to be the fountain of knowledge today for us. He has just confirmed that Yone actually had a disconnection to his wheel, so it was a hardware issue with his steering wheel on his racing rig that caused him to end his lead in the first race. So I can only assume that he quickly got out of the race after that happened, because you wouldn't want to be on the track with no steering or anything like that. So that's the reason Simicic's retirement for race 1, and very disappointing. But at least that means that Simicic can go back in race 2. It's not an internet issue that's taken him out of the second race, and that means that he will be competing once again. We've only got 27 drivers in the server, so it looks like a few guys have disappeared, but we'll see if they can come back. We still have about 4.5 minutes before we return to racing once again, as the guys just get out there and practice a few things along the way, maybe just change a few of their setups that they'll want to do now after what was a very, very interesting first race. Of course, it was slightly delayed, so that's why we are running a little bit later today than we would usually. But after getting those start issues sorted out, hopefully everyone will be okay for race 2 to be able to start the race under the orders that they have been given today, and just get away fairly cleanly, and no jump starts. That's what I'm hoping for. But it looks like from race 1 that people who did maybe make a few mistakes at the start there were reprieved of what they did, and weren't given drive-through penalties for their issues. So 3 minutes remaining now, and the drivers just going around on the track. And whilst we've got this lull in proceedings, I'll just tell you about what's coming up later on. So, of course, it's a week-by-week thing at the moment in WCS, and it means that next week we'll be returning to the BMWs after their debut last week in Donington Park. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for that as I was away for that week, but I'm very excited to see what will happen in round 2 when the BMWs head to the Red Bull Ring, and it's certainly a bit different to this. It's all about touring car action and watching the cars make a bit more contact than they do in this series, and it's always fun and very competitive to see as well. So definitely check that one out, as I believe Joshua Anderson has just stepped back into the commentary box. I'm sure feeling fulfilled a bit more now after getting a quick snack.
Mate, I'm still having it. I'm that dedicated. I've come back with it.
Fair enough. I'll let you get on and eat it then. Don't want to have to listen to you eating with your mouth full and speaking with your mouth full, I should say.
It would be a nightmare.
That would certainly be a new skill of entry, wouldn't it? To be able to eat and commentate on a race at exactly the same time.
I'm a man of many talents.
I'd be truly impressed. Imagine seeing that in Formula One or something. Brundle and Crofty just tucking into a nice dinner and a glass of wine whilst the race started. That'd certainly be a spectacle.
I'd imagine it's probably more suited to endurance commentary. I imagine John Hindhaugh gets a sarnie out after the 6-hour mark and just has it because he can. And, well, endurance commentators need to eat too, but not actually during the broadcast, not actually really speaking, of course.
No. I'm sure he picks his places to have a quick bite. I'm sure he gets a ninja snack in there or thereabouts at a time. Of course, without rustling too many papers to make too much noise whilst the mic's still on. So we've got about a minute, actually less than a minute to go now, Josh. And well, of course, this reverse grid that you witnessed last time out, the top 10 get reversed. It's going to be interesting stuff. Stefan Rowe will be on pole position with Philip Koenig alongside him. So interesting choice of drivers going to be up there on the first row of the grid this time.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll be able to get a better start than they did in the first race, because some of them didn't quite get off the grid so well. So if they can get there, then it'll be great for them because they can make a good start of the starting sprint race. Just reminding everyone to go with the green squares.
Yep, it's certainly something you can forget about after a good hour's worth of racing that we've just witnessed. So just seen a big shot on the track, but the field being set now. We've actually got 30 drivers here for race 2, so another very strong looking grid. At least that's where the positions have shown. I'm not seeing 30 drivers in the service, so I don't know how they've done that. It's good effort anyway to be able to set the grid like that. I think we've actually got 7 drivers, and as the timer goes to 0, we switch over to the race then. So all the cars, all the drivers will be heading out onto the grid in the next 30 seconds, and we'll have a quick warm-up lap and then 14 laps of absolute action and jam-packed racing. No pit stops, like I said before, nothing of the likes of that, just flat-out racing for 14 laps. And we've got our reverse grid as well, and I'm confused here because Philip Koenig's actually taken pole position.
Was he not supposed to?
No, I thought it was Stefan Ruel. I don't know what's happened to Stefan.
He's not here.
He's not here. So the guy who I believe was going to be on pole position has disappeared.
Yeah, Ruel's not able to make race 2, I don't think.
Wow. So, well, that gives Koenig a huge opportunity then. Philip Koenig for Stax Racing pole position here, Magny Cours for 2. Hoekstra alongside him for CM Tech in second. Then the 2 multiples of Muscat and Milan on row 2. Kevin Siggy with Eras Mashuni on row 3 with Masai. It's Machi Malinek. I'm going to have to try and get that right, aren't I? I keep saying it wrong. Machi Malinek in 7th with Tobias Olsen in 8th. Then our race 1 winner Sven de Vries in 9th with Michael Francesconi being promoted up in 10th place now thanks to Ruan not taking part. So Roy Schroten and Chris Kinsman, the 2 Racing Team Schroter teammates, line up on row 6 with Matt Richards and Menno Klunt on row 7. And Josh, are you able to take us through the rest of the grid?
Am I able? Of course I'm able. Patrick Brannemuller will start in 15th place, and he is followed by Jacob Peck in 16th, and it's Jack Mayer, Terence Gregg, Brett Merkoff, Robert Johnson, Gerrit de Vries, Spring Coaxer, Jernish Simitic, who rejoins after his disconnection, Wesley Stefano, Christoph Lichtenstein, Josh Dowdett, and Mike Quint taking up last place.
Yes, so there you go. That's a good quick rundown by Josh. We've got the full 27 drivers in, and got a bit more time to decide now. Josh, who's going to be your pick for race 2 then?
I want to say, I really want to say Philip Koenig, because he's won in faster cars than this before, and reverse grid Paul could suit him very well. I'm not going to say Philip Koenig, though. I'm going to say Wookie Hoekstra.
Okay, so you've got a guy who maybe you want to see win, but your guy who you think's going to win is Hoekstra.
My heart says Koenig, but my head says Hoekstra.
That's fair enough. I'm going to be probably a bit more reserved. It's quite hard actually calling this one. Very hard indeed. I'm actually going to go for Mlinek. I think he showed some great pace at the end of race 1, and I think maybe this time if he keeps it together, he might be able to pick up the win for Hawkeye, the win that they probably should have got in race 1 until all the drama unfolded.
I don't blame you for picking him. As cars just lined up in the grid, Christoph Lichtenstein is just going to reverse into his grid box. It's not easy when there's 30 cars on the grid, but we are about to get started here, and Magny Cours.
Yeah, I think Lichtenstein's just which side the grid he's on. So the cars now are lined up. The lights are going on. Let's hope all the drivers get this one right. And I think they pretty much do. It's lights out and we're off for race 2. Koenig's got a fantastic start actually. And leads the field comfortably into turn 1. Hoekstra slots in 2nd, Muscat in 3rd. And Siggy in 4th as they go, line to tail, head to tail through the first couple of corners down the straight, and this is really where all the positions going to be won and lost down towards the Adelaide hairpin. You can see that Hoekstra is looking to the outside of Koenig towards the hairpin. They're going to be side by side into the braking zone and side by side behind as well. Hoekstra slots back into 2nd, Muscat slots back into 3rd, but Siggy's trying to go round his outside. He's going to have probably the better line go towards Nürburgring, and Muscat's just going to have to back out this hit. Siggy on the grass nearly chops his nose off. Muscat just skips across some of the bollards there.
Battle from the front!
As Hoekstra, look at that, he's passed Koenig. Koenig's gone wide down at the 180-degree corner, and Koenig's back into 2nd now, so Hoekstra getting the advantage early on. Siggy now catching up with the 2, and Olsen already challenging Muscat for 4th, but having to back out of it through Imola there. Goes back into 5th place, and Hoekstra's got off again, so Koenig retakes the lead down at Chateau d'Eau. It's all gone wrong for Hoekstra.
Siggy was both of them!
Yeah, Siggy's coming through as well. He's already got past Hoekstra, looking to the inside of Koenig. Got to hold it on the inside there as well. Koenig's going to have to give him a bit of room, and they're still just about side by side, but Koenig gets a much better drive through the final chicane, takes the lead. He leads lap 1 then, lost it but regained it before the end of the lap. Siggy in 2nd, Hoekstra 3rd, Muscat 4th, and Tobias Olsen in 5th.
Yeah, but Olsen's on the series from the Vries, who's chasing around turn 1 here. I tell you what, if Kevin Siggy got a move done, we may as well just packed it up and gone home. That would have been move of the race for sure, without question, getting past 2 in 1 corner. They're still due now for 2nd, and Koenig's in a Vandermuller situation where he has now got the 2 cars behind, dueling and slowing themselves down. Jason Muscat might be about to make it a 3-way, maybe even be a quartet or a quintet if De Vries and Olsen get involved. There could be some seriously multi-car action going on here, and Koenig stands to gain from all of it.
Yeah, it's all kicking off the back as well. There's been a huge crash at the back coming out of Estoril. Multiple cars involved, a few retirements as well. It's looked very messy back there. Drivers getting caught up in the middle of the track and spinning out. So Koenig leads, Hoekstra 2nd, Siggy in 3rd, Olsen in 4th, Muscat in 5th. and De Vries is 6th. They're all pretty close together. Mlinek not too far away either in 7th place. The top 7 are within 2.5 seconds of each other. Close indeed. Hoekstra looks like he's starting to pressure Koenig a little bit more, going down towards the end of lap 2 already. And we'll have to see here who's going to try and make a move.
I can imagine the pressure will be on Koenig as well. Wopke Hoekstra is no absolute slouch. You know, he knows his way around the Formula car. Very quick. Has had chances of wins before. Wopke has had wins before too. So he knows his way around these cars, and he is a serious threat to Koenig, but Siggy as well. If he can catch back up to the 2 with him, he might try and pull that move he didn't quite make the first time. But then he's got Olsen chasing him, Muscat chasing him, De Vries chasing him, Mlinek sort of chasing him. This is all working out for this lead pair, because everyone else is fighting each other, although Wopke might have the line into this Adelaide turn here.
Yeah, he's looking
he's
very
gonna have
racy
it
right now. Hoekstra, it looks at the inside there. Koenig didn't even defeat. He takes a good wide line. Oh, actually goes too wide coming out the corner. Hoekstra gets a much better run, gets the position, and takes the lead of this race once again. Let's see now as he run down towards Nürburgring. Can he hold on to it this time around? He's just got to drive a clean lap now and not make any more mistakes. Gets in to the 180-degree corner pretty well, and Siggy behind already starting to look at Koenig as well. So it's something going on back.
Patrick Vandermolen had a very near miss with Matt Richards again. Vandermolen, another Formula race winner, and cars quicker than this. Koenig and Vandermolen, both stacks. Drivers know the way around these Formula cars then. Boy, Milan though having to go with the German at the moment though. Matt Richards not far ahead of that group. So I'm not going to distract from this three-wheel fight. We've got for the lead now.
Yeah, it's really hotting up here as Siggy definitely looking very racy right at the moment. Quicker than the 2 in front perhaps, and Muscat not too far behind either as they complete lap 3, and De Vries just in the background as well onto the back of Tobias Olsen. We'll have to keep an eye on whether anyone tries to move down to Adelaide, looking slightly a bit more spread out now, and maybe further back there might be some action as well.
Yeah, it could be a decent action around the back as well, but this is really what we're looking at the moment. P2, P3, P4, P5, and the likes of that, you know, all these cars here are just going to chase each other down into these corners, and it is Wopke who leads at the moment, obviously, from Philip, from Kevin, and then these all chasing each other. De Vries Olsen could be an interesting battle to keep an eye on for P5 here and P4, because, well, Olsen, as if he can get up to P4, that is, it's P5 they're battling for. De Vries and Olsen both giving it full beans around there. Richards, Vandermolen, Simoncic are both having a go. Jenny Simoncic had a great recovery drive up into P11 so forward, chasing down Vandermolen, though the German is not going to make it easy for him, he's going to have to make him wait as well. Lichtenstein disconnect, I believe, and Simoncic, though, if he's going to get back up into the top 5, he's going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah, that's really good enough by Simoncic so far then to pick up those positions.
Oh, about a second!
Looking all over the back of Koenig, go down towards him. Oh, whoa, look how quick the cars are through there. And Koenig just about holds on at the moment, but see, definitely harassing him now and really getting all over the back of him. Muscat's also there just behind Siggy, so Siggy's got to watch out also. He can't do anything too rash as we enter the last of the corners, and again, just having to be patient through here. He really needs to try and get a run through the first 3 corners down towards the hairpin to make a move, I feel. And actually falling back a little bit over the line. And Koenig's definitely falling back from Hoekstra as well. There's about a second between them now. And that's been the largest the gap's been between the leaders so far this race. So now as we go onto the straight, down towards the hairpin, Siggy's actually looking at his wing mirrors because Muscat's right there in 4th place. Coming up behind him, Siggy goes defensive, Muscat goes to the outside. They're going to be side by side into the hairpin. Who's going to get the better line? Oh, Muscat literally drifts it round the corner, doesn't he? And just about can't quite get past Siggy, but has to slot him right onto his tail.
Yeah, he does crank up the U-bit. We're going full initial D in this race here, and Jason Muscat knows it all too well. But he's chasing down Kevin Siggy like a man possessed at the moment. When he wants his ball, when he wants it hard, and you know how he's going to get it. He's going to make an overtake, but is he going to get the overtake chance is the question. But now we're going to train top 4, 5, 6. Anyone within the top 6 is realistically in with a chance of this race lead at the moment. And while it's Wopke Hoekstra who has it, any mistake from the Dutchman could land it to Koenig. Any mistake from Koenig could land second to Siggy. Any mistake from Siggy lands third to Muscat, fourth to Olsen, fifth to De Vries.
Yeah, they're all stacking up, and suddenly Konig's got Siggy right beside him, made a
No, he
mistake
does.
there through Shadow.
Oh, God, they're not going to go 3 wide.
They nearly are. Oh, they're 2x2 though. Also out of nowhere, down on the inside of Muscat.
Oh,
Siggy
DeVries!
on the inside of Konig. Siggy gets through. Konig into third. Olsen fourth. DeVries fifth. Muscat all the way down to sixth. He's lost 2 positions in that corner there. So disaster for Muscat, and could be losing another one to Mlinik as well. He's right behind him. As these guys still battle away. Olsen looking to the outside of Konig through Estoril. Nothing on there. Konig runs a bit wide. Guess just about on back end. Well, Olsen's going to be right behind him. Konig's go defensive early on, showing exactly where he's going to stick the car down towards Adelaide. Actually moves back to the outside of the track. Olsen then is going to have a look up the inside of Konig. Can he hold it? Oh, there's contact between the two, and neither of them spin. So good effort for not spinning it there.
This is just sensational, isn't it, Sam? Really.
It really is absolutely jam-packed stuff. Olsen and Konig side by side into the Nürburgring. Olsen has to pull out of it at the last second, and well, they both survived there, but only just about. And DeVries is on the back of Olsen as well. It really seems to be that Konig is just maybe holding these guys up a little bit here, as I think Siggy started to pull away from Konig right now. But look how far behind Siggy is. He's 3.5 seconds behind the leader, Hoekstra, as Olsen's up the inside of Konig. It's Chateau out of nowhere, just suddenly goes up the inside and gets a position, so he's into the podium pace now, into third.
DeVries has gone for it too. He's going to try and go down Konig into the final 15th turn here. It's not. Is it going to work? Well, we're going to see if it works. He's down the inside. Yeah, it does work. Oh, does it not? Because Konig is still. It hasn't worked. Konig's still there. We've got this incredible 7-way battle for second. And I'll tell you this, Whoopie Hoekstra, in the ultimate Vandermoller scenario, he's pulled out the gap with 3.5 seconds.
Yes, he's absolutely disappeared up the road and done it in no time at all. We're on lap 7, halfway stage of the race will be at the end of this lap, as DeVries now has Muscat on his outside for 5th and 6th place. They go side by side. They've got Konig just ahead of them down towards the Adelaide. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers?
Oh, look, it's Sven DeVries here. Yeah, he's gone for it.
It's close between the two, but Muscat's actually going to come out with this position here around the outside. It's a really, actually incredible move by Muscat to get the position around the outside and pick up 5th place with Sven DeVries.
Yeah, DeVries not going to be happy. He's not got 5th there. He's going to have a go now into 180. It's not going to work out for him. Matty Mlinek tries to force it on the outside of the same corner. That hasn't worked out, and now he's fallen into the jaws of Michael Francesconi. You slip up once in this race, and you got people on your back.
Yeah, you really have. As Muscat now all over the back of Konig through Imola. Oh, and I thought he was going to lose it there a little bit. Just lit up the tyre, but held on to it. And well, he's having to look in front and behind. He's now trying to go up the inside of Konig down towards these last couple of corners. He's up the inside. DeVries is trying to go upside the inside of both of them. It's nearly 3 wide into the right-hander. So Muscat gets past. DeVries is trying to go through as well. Konig has to jump across the chicane and actually gives up the position there. Mlinek is going to take it at the same time. And here comes Michael Francesconi as well. Konig's just lost 4 places in the space of 2 corners. Incredible stuff.
And Vandermoller out. Vandermoller's out of the race. He has some sort of suspension problem. And well, he lost it out of the final chicane again. Clips the curb too much, gets too much curb, side on into the wall, end of the race. Thank you very much. Goodbye for Patrick. But that is not going to please him very much. But this battle for 3rd, 4th, whatever you want to call it, it's a 4-way fight for 5th, and it's still raging.
It certainly is. Muscat is just a little bit ahead of these guys. Then DeVries, Mlinek, and Francesconi has Konig all over the back of him. I'm sure Konig wants to try and recover some of those positions after a disastrous end to the last lap there. It all seemed to just go away from him after having to skip across that chicane. And well, he'll certainly be wanting to pick up a couple more positions. Olsen, on the other hand, though, is catching Siggy for 2nd at the same time. Siggy's not really making much inroads on Hoekstra, our leader, but Olsen definitely giving Siggy a run here and looking to get another 2nd place in 2 races here tonight. So we'll see if he can get that position or whether Siggy can hold on to it.
Yeah, we'll see if he can. I mean, Kevin Siggy in a very strong 2nd, of course. Olsen, in these last some laps, may just try and go for it, to be honest. We're on lap 9, or 14. Whoopie Hoekstra still leads. There'll be 5 laps to go, therefore. And then Kevin, well, he's only about a second and a bit, really, ahead of Olsen. Maybe not even a second at the moment. But I think the real action is this whole 5th to 8th train, where we've got De Vries chasing Muscat, who's just gone off the track a bit. And this is going to give him a big chance here. Look at the toe he's got already. This is going to be pretty decisive if he can get through. But Francesconi, Mlinek as well, potentially a battle we can look for. De Vries, though, on the outside of Muscat as we come into Adelaide. And he's going to get it. He's going to get it. He's through.
So Muscat did Vries around the outside a lap ago, and this time around De Vries does the same thing back to Muscat, so they both did it to each other, and both absolutely fantastic moves, and that was important because, well, there's about 2 seconds now between Olsen and De Vries, so definitely lost quite a bit of time there battling between the two of them, and, well, if De Vries is going to pull away, he needs to do it now really to try and catch Siggy and Olsen up ahead to have any chance of battling for the podium right now. So Siggy again coming under more pressure through Chateau, just losing a bit more time there, and Olsen is getting closer and closer to his rear wing, and I just have a feeling that within the next lap or so Olsen's going to have a good chance of overtaking, or at least having a chance at passing Siggy, because he's getting closer and closer. Oh, Siggy's in the wall.
Oh!
Olsen's him as well.
Big time!
Huge.
Wow! And he's stuck on his side as Olsen. Quite lit. Wow. Well, the balance that he's stuck on is all. That is the most absurd landing I've ever seen. Look at he's been self-righted and he's back on track.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy's right. He's lost his front wing. He's lost everything. He's lost his suspension. He just lost it out that final chicane, didn't he? Got loose and just speared into the outside wall. It's literally like hitting a wall dead on there. Really nowhere to go, and Olsen just got caught up in that as well, and he's all the way back down in 12th now. I'm sure he's probably got a bit of damage as well. Oh, look at that, Muscat and De Vries side by side. Whoa, De Vries has got off track there through Nürburgring, collects it, gets back on, and Muscat actually retakes what is now 2nd position after all that at the end of the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, there was a genuine mistake from Kevin, and then Tobias went into him fair, he couldn't really avoid, and then just got in that massive spin, and then actually landed on his side, unable to move. And now we got De Vries and Muscat battling for second. The result, Whoopke Hoekstra, though, 7.6 seconds ahead of Muscat. That's how much this whole battle has let him lead by.
It's like another Simic domination here, isn't it? It's a Simic style domination, just like it was in the first 20 laps of race 1. Muscat has De Vries all over the back of him, and yeah, just looking at through the first couple of corners now, we're going to have to see if any of these guys can try and make a move. Mlinek is behind De Vries as well, so is Francesconi and Koenig. They're all still there, so it's effectively a 5-way battle for second place. Really exciting stuff right now. Milan's not too far away in the distance either, so don't rule him out, and we'll have to see if anything happens down here. It looks like it's a little bit further back. Koenig is having to go at Francesconi, trying to go around the outside of it. Francesconi nearly crowding Koenig out into the braking area there, and unfortunately that means Koenig's run wide a little bit and lost the run that he had on Francesconi and remains in 6th.
Yeah, Koenig's lost his run now, and he's going to remain in that 6th place for probably a while until he can get back. And Francesconi to have P5 is great for him. And well, we still got these 3 though. Muscat, De Vries, Mlinek jugging it out for second, and that's going to help Whoopke Hoekstra even more as if he needed any help. He's already been leading by 7.6 seconds. That's probably going to go up these 3 battle too hard. But Mlinek and De Vries and Muscat all gunning for each other here, and if they can't get first, then go for second. That's the next best position for them, and rightly so, I guess. I mean, Boyer Malan as well. Matt Redshaw's having decent races, but it's been all Whoopke ever since he got that lead.
It certainly has been. We haven't seen much from him because it's been that easy for him at the moment, and just keep our fingers crossed that nothing happens at all, because he's done a stellar job in this race too. So over the line they go, on to lap 12, and De Vries is still all over the back of Muscat here, looking all over the place, taking all kinds of crazy lines through the first couple of corners. Very tight for Estoril. And right on the back of the rear wing of Muscat now, so this is a good chance for De Vries, perhaps the best chance he's had for a couple of laps. Muscat doesn't defend at the moment. He goes to the outside of the track, so De Vries has a chance of going up the inside, goes in late and actually gets up the inside of Muscat, but Muscat, calm and collected, gets a good run out of the hairpin and holds on to that position, and well ahead of De Vries by the time we get to Nürburgring. So very good, calm driving there by Muscat. Didn't feel like defending, and certainly paid off for him.
It did, yes. Sven De Vries is just nice and calm at the moment. You know, Jason Muscat didn't risk too much on the defence. It's been sensible driving from both drivers, and that's Reineck and Francesconi battling behind for P5 as well. They are doing a pretty good job. Props to Jeremy Simic for coming back to 8th from near the back of the grid, though. You know, it's not easy to do that, especially in the sprint race. So he is doing a fairly good job to do that, and Simic should be applauded for his efforts, although he's not really going to get a top 5 at the rate he's going.
No, certainly not, it looks like. But still, there's a little bit more time, a few laps, and anything could happen, and anything is definitely happening right now, because Muscat has got De Vries all over the back of him once again. Lennick also there with Francesconi as well. It's really close between these four, and the other two behind him are also close behind as well as we go through the first couple of corners. Through Estoril, again, De Vries with that much tighter line. Can he hold it through here and get a good run on Muscat? He's right behind Lennick, also behind him. They're all going to be picking up a toe on each other. Who will get the best toe? Who's going to have a chance down towards Adelaide? Is anyone going to have a chance, or are they all just going to sit here? Like I said, De Vries very late on the brakes. Lennick nearly loses it as well. Contact between him and Muscat, and De Vries takes second place. Very, very late there by De Vries, and I hope he didn't barge his way through there. It looked like there's a bit of contact.
Wow,
Match! Off.
Well, props to Matty for trying to make it work through Nürburgring. You know what it is, he's overtakes out there, but it hasn't worked out for him. He's going to have to wait his turn and try a different corner. De Vries still, Francesconi, everyone's still battling each other. Whoopke Hoekstra on lap 13 of the race, coming around Chateau d'Eau here. It's going to have a great run on this final lap. You can probably just afford to phone it in from here, to be honest.
Yeah, he's probably, just going to wave fans, maybe, could even do maybe a donut.
No, that'll slow down too much.
he can give it a shot, but the guys who won't be slowing down are the guys right behind him as we do start this final lap with Hoekstra right now. De Vries, though, has got Muscat all over the back of him once again, and I think after that late move into the hairpin, Muscat will be hungry to get the position back from De Vries, and he's certainly got a good chance at the moment. All over De Vries going through Estoril, and
my neck.
He's lost a few positions. What's happened there by Mlanek? He's just suddenly lost it.
Lost it. He has not had a good run here, and then Jerry Simic, his teammate, ahead now. So of all the people to catch him, Simic is catching him now, but we got De Vries and Muscat.
And look at that by Muscat once again. That's the second time he's done it. De Vries, he's gone round the outside of De Vries at Adelaide, and he's taken second place back. So a lap ago he lost it, and this time around he's gained it back, but he's still got to watch out because De Vries is right there behind him, and he's going to be hunting Muscat in these final few corners of this race. Look how close he is. He's trying to go. Oh my goodness, they're going to go side by side into Imola. What is going to happen here? Surely someone's going to have to pull out of it. Yeah, look at that. De Vries has to back out.
De Vries still close, though. I do have to say Whoopke Hoekstra about to ride the final corner, so I'll hand it back over to you, Sam, but I'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah, you keep an eye, Josh, as Extra comes round, and what a fantastic win this has been for Hoekstra. He crosses the line, he takes the win here. Race 2 in Magny Cours gets the win that he truly deserved. As it looks like Muscat is hold on for in second, De Vries in third, Francesconi finishes in fourth, Milan in fifth, and Lennick down to sixth after those issues at the fire. Well, at Estoril, I think it was the first couple of corners of the final lap. He finishes in sixth. Simic for Hawkeye, the second Hawkeye, finishes in seventh, all the way from about 25th, I think, on the grid. He started really far down, takes seventh place. Matt Richards, good effort for him in eighth as well. Didn't really see him that much, but it's really good to get eighth. Philip Koenig, of course, started as our pole sitter down in ninth, with Menno Klont picking up 10th place. Stefano in 11th, Schroten in 12th, his teammate Kinsman behind him in 13th, Olsen after that huge crash is in 14th with Quint, De Vries, Gerrit De Vries that is, Capeg 17th, Josh Downard, who will be coming round now. Just a few more corners to go. We'll get 18th, Jack Mayer in 19th. Robert Johnson will be your final finisher in 20th, although he's missing a front wing at the moment. The retirees of the race were Kevin Siggy, Patrick Bannermuller, Eras Mashuli, Christopher Lichtenstein, Rennick Hoekstra, Brett Metcalf, and Terence Gretsch. But Josh, what a absolutely fantastic race. Hoekstra had to quickly jump back to see what happened behind him there, but Hoekstra did an incredible job that race, didn't he? Just led after about the second lap once he'd taken the lead from Philip Koenig and never really looked back from there.
No, I never really looked back on. I've just looked and seen it was Eros Mashuli on lap 6 retired with brake failure as well. Magny Cours obviously track that's quite tough on brakes then because didn't quite manage to finish the race because that. But yeah, Whoopie Hoekstra with a dominant win at the end there from Muscat, De Vries, Francesconi, Milan. Obviously, the attrition rate as well from this race quite high. We had quite a few retirements in both races. It's not the easiest second to negotiate. So I think Whoopie and the others can be happy of where they finished.
Yeah, I think they can. Certainly, it was, I guess, survival further down the grid and up at the front. It was fantastic racing there. As that's it for that then. So the servers actually just switched over and have lost the chance to take the results down of that last race. So I missed out there, but really good job by Hoekstra. Very impressive indeed. And well, Josh, you got your pick right as well, didn't you? You picked him.
Yeah, I picked him. I guess logic won out, but I really wanted Philip Koenig to win, let's be honest. But, Whoopie deserves it as well. And I'm happy he won. Because I like Whoopie. Whoopie's brilliant.
He is. He had of course, he had a good run in Monza. Was looking good for potentially winning. Definitely giving Simic a run for his money at the start of the race there, and then in Silverstone as well. He had a couple of good races also. So I think it's been coming for Whoopie, and it's good to see him get off the mark here today with his first win for the league in the league.
Yeah, great to see him get that, and sure there'll be quite a few more in him if he keeps this up for sure.
Yep, absolutely. I'm waiting to see if we can pull in a few drivers to get some interviews as well.
I think we're going to get the top 3 from each race.
That's excellent. Wow, we're going to have plenty to go through then, aren't we, in the next few minutes' time. So what we'll do is we'll pull them all in and then we'll just talk to them one by one as we usually do. So I don't know if you have... Yeah.
Yeah, Sven De Vries has got it.
That's good. That's good. I didn't want to type in that password all that time. So let's have a look then. We have quite a few guys here today to talk to. We'll have 4 drivers at the moment to interview. And I think it's probably fair to start off with our race 1 winner. That is Sven De Vries. And Sven, it probably didn't look like it was on the cards there. With about 3 or 4 laps to go, but of course, the unfortunate hardware issue for Jone Simoncic, you suddenly found yourself in the lead and had to go through quite an exciting battle at the end of race 1.
Yeah, we mentioned let's talk to the winner of race 1. I had to think for a moment, like, oh, who won race 1? I was like, oh yeah, it's me. Yeah, it was very unfortunate for Journey. He had that in the bag, so sure, I won the race, but he's the moral winner of that race. But other than that, the battling wise, oh man, that was that was on a whole nother level than what I'm used to. That was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed defending, attacking, and everything that came with that. My straight line speed was terrible. I suppose going for the stability rather than the speed paid off, and not paid off so much in the straights. But it worked out in the end. So yeah, very happy with the result.
Excellent stuff, and wow, with all those points that you've managed to pick up here in race 1 and race 2, of course, it's looking pretty good for you in the championship, especially considering a few guys around you either haven't scored or haven't turned up today. So is that something you're now looking to the championship standings?
Not too much. I mean, it's nice to be up there, but I'm aware that I should be starting my new job somewhere in March, so I'm not going to be able to finish the season. So I'm just enjoying every race that I can, and I must say big thumbs up to all the guys around me in race two because that battling was insane. We were on the edge, side by side, inches away from each other, and it was absolutely awesome. It was very fair and hard, and probably the best battles I've had in years.
Great stuff, and well, yeah, absolutely, I couldn't agree more about that race two, even race one as well. At the end was truly exciting. So, great job, Sven, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time again. And well, thank you for the fantastic battles tonight.
Thank you.
Great. So now I think we'll move on and carry on our theme of talking to the winners, and we'll talk to our winner of race two. So Whoopkey, that was a truly emphatic win in race two. I don't think you probably got much camera time because you were out there all on your own after about lap two, and it looked pretty easy from up here in the commentary box. What was it like?
Yeah, when I finished race 1 in P8, I knew I had to get a good start for race 2 because I knew that all the guys behind me for the reverse grid would be faster than me or at least as quick as me. And yeah, I just tried to get as past Philip Koenig as fast as possible so that I would get a bit of a lead and hopefully, yeah, could get away from the other guys. And that's exactly what happened. They started battling and I started winning time to them. And yeah, of course, I got helped out by the crash between second and third place as well, which gave me even more seconds to the new second place. Yeah, so it was quite easy. And I think in the final lap, I also set the fastest lap of the race, so I was happy with that.
Excellent stuff, and of course, with Lars Brugman not being around today, you've moved ahead of him in a championship, and I believe you will be in second place now. So you're actually the closest competitor to De Vries. Are you thinking about championship points, or are you just going for wins at the moment?
No, I prefer championship points. That's what I always do. I always try to finish every race, and well, yeah, if I can take a win, then of course I will take it. But it's always important to finish the race and to be clean and not, to dive bomb people for the win. That's my opinion. And well, I hope that Sven will drop out. Actually, that he will start his new job soon, so I can take the lead of the championship. But we'll see what happens.
Excellent stuff, and congratulations once again on your first win here today, and look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
So now we move on, and I think next we'll speak to Tobias Olsen. And well, you've certainly surprised me today, Tobias. You got to 8th place in qualifying, and then really came to life in race one, and showed some great pace in race two as well. But that race in race one, where you came so close to winning, how was it? What was the battling like with Sven?
Yeah, thanks. Battle with Sven was really fun. Yeah, I was a bit surprised of my race pace in race one. I didn't really get a good lap in qualifying, but I knew maybe I could do it in the race. And yeah, almost did catch Sven there in the last laps. Yeah, and race two was looking pretty good, but then Kevin, I think, went into the wall and kind of collected me as well. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah, do you think you it looked really unfortunate in race two there? Do you think you could have gone on to at least get second place had you not had that incident?
Yeah, I think I will manage to get in second place. I think Kevin was struggling a bit in sector 3. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Excellent stuff. Really good effort nonetheless. You've picked up quite a lot of points today at least, and continuing to show some really good form. And how's it been as well with I guess your teammates changing? You haven't always had a consistent teammate, well, the same teammate week in, week out. How's that been for you?
Yeah, well, not really a problem. It's a shame for the team that we can't really go for the team championship, but yeah, maybe Strane will be back for the next race. So yeah. Anyway, I think Robert was our stand-in today, did a great job. So yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, good effort for race one. Really exciting stuff to watch you. One of the most entertaining battles I've ever seen, and really good fun in race two as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Right, we have our final interviewee of the day, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Maciej Mlinek.
Yeah,
I think I messed it up at the start, and Josh corrected me through the broadcast, so hopefully I've said it correctly. But you really came to life in the second half of race one. I noticed today, nearly taking the win for Jorge after your teammate, of course, disconnected in the first race. Did you suddenly just find a bit more pace during the race, or was it just biding your time?
I don't know actually how I managed to have I don't know how I had this pace, because on the practice and on qualifying sessions, my pace was a bit slow. I was losing like per lap to the leaders, and suddenly in the race, I started to have very good pace. After pit stop, I even catched to the leaders. I was even on the first place, but unfortunately, I spun on last chicane on the third last lap of the race. I hit the wall with like 100 plus kilometers, and I had no damage. I don't know how this happened, but no front wing loss, no suspension damage. I just went through on fifth position, fine on the finish line, third, and in race two, I think I just did the same thing, and I just finished sixth. I don't know what to say about race two.
Yeah, it looked like you had a few battles, and I noticed you had an off at about near the end of the race in the middle sector as well. Was that just going a bit wide and battling someone up on the outside going into 180?
You mean with Jason?
Yes, yeah.
We just touched at the exit of this chicane, and I went wide just for safety issues, and he saved his position, unfortunately for me.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and really good effort once again as well. You picked up your first podium, of course, here today, so really good stuff. And well, thank you very much, Vachi, and I hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Maybe another step on the podium as well.
Maybe we will see.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, so with all that said and done, the interviews are done. Any last words, Josh, for what you've seen today and what we've got coming up in a couple of weeks' time as well?
Well, if that was anything to go by, I'm really looking forward to next time as well. And the BMWs next week as well. Let's not forget, because we've got those to come up as well. And just great racing from everybody. I don't know how much teething problems we've got through them. And yeah, looking forward to the next race.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, just to carry on from what you said there, Josh, just to give you a bit of information then about what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. So as Josh alluded to there, we will be returning to the BMWs for the second round of the season at the Red Bull Ring. And well, I love that track. It's a fantastic track. It's very simple, only a few corners, and with the BMWs, it should be absolutely exciting stuff. And be sure to tune in. It's at the same time as it was today, same broadcast as well. And hopefully I can be there. Hopefully Josh or someone else can be there as well, and to take you all through it. And then in 2 weeks' time, we return with the F3s, and we'll be in Indianapolis on March the 1st, again on Wednesday at the same time. And well, that's an interesting track. It's definitely brought up some interesting battles in different leagues during the years, depending on what track types used. I'm not 100% sure exactly which formation of the track will be used, whether it's the F1 track or the IndyCar track. But both tracks definitely have interesting racing, and with these cars slightly slower than the more powerful cars, it should be really excited to see them go through the banking and down the long pit straight as well. So I hope you can join us for that, both for the BMWs and the F3s every Wednesday. Wednesday is definitely the place to be for WCS at the moment. It's coming thick and fast. But for me, from Argo, thank you very much, Argo, for everything that you've done on the cameras today. Huge help out, and a fountain of knowledge as well to keep us up to date during the races. We don't always see everything as commentators. And once again, thank you to you, Josh, for stepping in and doing commentary for a second time here in F3. But from me, Sam Jones, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.